Dun, 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 dun. You know what it reminds me of? Rodney Dangerfield. And the movie.
Caddyshack, when he started dancing.
Yeah.
So let's dance.
Okay. No, they're violating. They're breaking the rules. They're violating the noise ordinance. Anyway, how's it going? 303. Look out. I'll tell you all about that in a second. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. With Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Flounder, who does our musical selection every day. And this is Earth, Wind, and Fire. And again, dump, dump, dump. That was when Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack starts dancing in the fairway. One of the great movies of all time. And a weird movie. I would have done a lot of things different, but a classic. Anyway, about to get going. Earth, Wind, and Fire on this day in 2001 announced that Viagra would sponsor their forthcoming 30th anniversary American tour. Earth, Wind, and Fire 2001. Of course, I've been able to prove for many years now that Earth, Wind, and Fire, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and Chicago are the same damn band, depending on how many trombones they get in the studio. Sorry.
Creedence doesn't have any horns in their band.
Well, I think they have a lot of. They do a similarity thing. That's what I'm saying. The Creedence when they pretend to be Creedence, they leave the trombones backstage. I've seen it myself. There's video. You can look it up. Anyway, a couple things here. Birthday.
You, sir, are a musical Luddite.
A musical what?
Luddite.
Luddite. An anti-Luddite. Oh, mercy. A quick birthday note. This is going to be fun today, too, because Jeff Foxworthy is 65 years old today. And I've asked Flounder if he's got a bunch of Jeff Foxworthy comedy bits, and we're going to play those for you today. Thank you, Flounder. He's been running around crazy today because we got a lot of really good stuff to talk about today. But Jeff Foxworthy, he wrote his first redneck jokes about 1987. And you might be a redneck more than 3 decades through, like 35 years later, he's still going strong. And a great guy. I don't know anyone who's ever said anything even remotely negative. Not that I should bring it up, but I don't think I've ever heard anything but just great stuff about the man. He does a lot for charity. He shows up places and is just as humble and nice and pleasant. I guess is he still married to that same girl he talks about all the time? I think probably. Anyway, happy for him. I think he's a great guy. I've never met him myself, but I appreciate him. One more birthday. Joanne Worley. Woo-hoo! Remember that from Laugh-In? Flounder, did you ever see Laugh-In? You weren't even born.
I've seen highlights and things like that. But
Joanne Worley was a real pretty, short-haired brunette, kind of a pixie cut with a kind of a curl thing, brunette cut. And she's actually very clever. She was did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. She was a comedian, and she was on Laugh-In. In fact, I met her a couple of times for various things, but she was known for doing that high kind of woo-hoo kind of a deal on Laugh-In. She's 86. She played the operatic wardrobe in Beauty and the Beast. I don't know what that means. Was that a cartoon thing? Or what's opera? Yeah. What is the operatic wardrobe? Is that a cartoon?
Everything sang. The tea kettle sang. Everything sang.
I got you. And a historical note. Let's see. Here we go. On this day in 1901, President William McKinley was shot point-blank range at the World's Fair in New York. He died from his wounds 8 days later. Leon Slazlachgach was the guy he was an anarchist who did it. He was executed 2 months later. They didn't fool around back in 1901. I mean, they knew who did it. He was right there. They caught him. So, what the hell? Executed him 2 months later. And McKinley was the third president to be assassinated, and it's because of his death that the Secret Service was then assigned to presidential protection duty because of McKinley in 1901. Let's see. We got a billion things here. Coming up, we'll have, and by the way, Pete Davis as producer, I'm now charging you with yelling whenever you feel like it during the program to get to Skynet and tweets. Because it turns out that something happens and all of a sudden I don't know what's going on. So now your responsibility when you want to do a Pete's tweets, just say, now we're doing Pete's what?
You know what? I charge you, Flounder, as the man in there who can hit the sounder.
Okay.
To hit that sounder whenever you want.
Even better. Well, now notice we're doing the whole trickle down. What the hell is this? So let me get this straight. So I now put that son of a. So I tell you to do something. You say, well, I'll just make him do it, and now nobody's going to do it. Flounder's going to say, we'll get an intern, and when we get an intern, he'll do it.
Cameron, you were in the military. You know how this works.
I do. Yes, it does. It's the captain's mast. There's an order to things, and you better follow it, or you're going to the brig. So you're breaking rocks.
Chain of command.
Chain of command, my friend. And a captain's mast, if you want to have a complaint, but it's a whole different thing. Anyway, so we have Pete's tweets and Skynet and some Flounder funnies and stuff like that. Also, Pete has some kind of a recipe thing. We got a whole bunch of stuff in there, a couple of like update things, and then we're going to talk. I'm going to honestly, when I saw President White Trash turning his back on the Medal of Honor ceremony and walking out early, like he said, well, I'm done now, and off he goes. And how the White House is now spinning it. We'll talk about that. Also, Carmela Sidepiece, America's shiftless and lazy vice president, is ready to take over. She's going to take over for sure. And also coming up in just a minute, well, here, there's some you knew this was going to happen in the Maui tragedy disaster. You know there are going to be scams of people trying to take your money if you want to donate to help people. Well, the names Jason Momoa and Oprah are prominently mentioned in people trying to warn, or maybe they're victims, and we don't know. There's a whole bunch of social media stuff, and we'll have it all for you here in a second. This is why I play. If the lottery gets up there, I play. I try not to spend any of my money on just me doing stupid stuff. Okay, because whatever. But if the lottery gets to $300 million, I'm going to spend $10 or $20. Every whatever it is. Here's where I don't play the lottery very often. Here are the winning numbers for yesterday's Fantasy 5. 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. You gotta be kidding me.
Who plays that?
I mean, somebody. I mean, you can't. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't spend all my money on sex and rock and roll. So there's we just have to make. Don't spend any your free time on those two things. Anyway, so 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. You gotta be kidding me. Also, we got a couple of weird, fun stories coming up. A couple updates though first, and Pete Davis I think has a more of a relationship as a media kind of guy than I do. The passing of George LaFont, 85 years old, and he was the movie man, I guess. Pete, there's a big long article about his passing, and he was the guy who kept cool movies alive in Atlanta, they say.
Oh, yeah. He was the guy, if you grew up in Atlanta, you grew up going to the silver screen over there at Peachtree Battle, which is no longer there. If you went to the midnight movies to see Wizards or Rocky Horror, you went to one. The Plaza, which is still alive there on Ponce, thank God it's still there. It's the old. He was the first one to bring the old movies back, the Marx Brothers, stuff like that. He was the first one to bring foreign movies in here, the French. He had a whole week of French movies.
Truffaut, Fellini, Tarantino, Bergman, Kurosawa, all those folks.
All the Japanese, Kurosawa, all the stuff he brought in. Everyone, if you wanted to impress a date, you brought her into Cheshire Bridge to the Terra, which they closed and now reopened, thank God. Yeah. And that was a place to impress the girls that had Jordan almonds, which few places did. It looked like it was out of the 1950s. The seats glistened with stars. It was a beautiful place. A lot of premieres were done there. It was just a place to go, and LaFont did that. And it's just amazing what he brought to Atlanta. He moved here from San Francisco back in the 60s, and he revolutionized movie-going in Atlanta.
He bought that tiny theater named after Jerry Lewis in the Peachtree Battle Shopping Center and called it Silver Screen. That was torn down, the building razed. Then he would own dozens of Ansley Mall, the Screening Room, Garden Hills, where he showed the Rocky Horror Picture Show for eons, Toco Hills, Marietta, Athens, the Terra, the Plaza, the Midtown, LaFont, Sandy Springs. Only George, over this story said, would show Caligula and the story of O, which ignited a court battle, which he won, and then turned around and screened Howard's End and Room with a View. I mean, what a character. And he came from San Francisco, like I mentioned, and just kind of took over things and kept the whole weird film industry alive. His favorite movie was Casablanca. Yeah.
He was a really nice guy. And besides all the fame, he got an award from the French government for what he did for French film. It was absolutely amazing. The stars that he brought here to Atlanta, and he always stayed humble, and you could always approach him and talk to him about movies.
Well, I got to take a quick break here. Sorry for the slow start to the show today, but I got so many things. We're going to talk about President Slimebag. This has blown my freaking head off. Also, the Maui thing, and an update on the folks who don't have any food because the public's got a crane dropped on it. That's coming up now with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's 3:13 on 106.3. Look at it. Yeah, baby. Little Motown. The Temptations, baby. I really miss, I miss those days when you'd see them on American Bandstand, and they do the doo-wop, shabop, and dee-bop-a-boop, and all. Just what a time.
How does it go?
Doo-bop-a-bop, a shoo-bop-a-wop. Kind of a, it's kind of
when they knew their place. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they weren't that uppity back then. It was kind of a keep it with it. No, see, you can't say a thing like that. You can say it once. It was on this day in 2020, Bruce Williamson Jr., the R&B and soul singer, one-time lead singer for The Temptations, died at the age of only 49. He appeared on the group's recent albums, Back to Front, Still Here, countless concerts, TV shows, and a cameo in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Bruce Williamson passed away 3 years ago at 49. Temptations. By the way, the Rolling Stones are doing sometime today from London a live streaming YouTube something or other on their new sound. They have new music 60 years later. It's called. We'll talk about that a little bit later on if you want to.
They're going to be on Jimmy Fallon, I think, tonight. Their first album since 2005.
Yeah, and there's an article about it. We'll read a little bit of it here a little bit later on for you. Also, are we on YouTube today? Rumble and YouTube and all that
Yes,
stuff?
we are.
And also we have
they're already complaining.
Oh, about what I do now? I didn't start.
Mark says, quit teasing stuff and do it.
Well, my God, man, I got to do the freaking music and the freaking birthday and the freaking history. And after do those three, then I tease what's going on, and then we'll do it. I had to start the show. You don't start like it's, start with just say, hey, here's the news. What the hell, man? We've been doing this, 3 months now? Get off my back.
Sophia said, howdy, fun seekers. Everybody's calling her Ludlow now. She doesn't know what they're talking about.
What am I talking for? What? Because I'm wearing sneakers instead of my cowboy boots? I don't know. By the way, I have a shoe update, too, and I also have an ATM heart quilt update, too. So I got a lot of stuff. We got to do Mark. I got a lot of teasing to do here. Now, see, I haven't done my birthdays yet. Pippa Middleton. She's Kate Middleton's hot little sister. Pippa is 40 today. And Naomi Harris, you may not know the name. She's 47. Naomi Harris was that hot, magnificent, cocoa-colored Miss Moneypenny in the James Bond movie Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die. She was also Tia Dalma in the second and third Pirates of the Caribbean, a kick-ass zombie killer in 28 Days Later, and an Oscar nominee for Moonlight. Naomi Harris, 47 years old today. And put those down there. Okay, I won't even do a history because I'm going to get right to the news. And I won't even do my ATM public thing or the heart or the anything I was going to do. Or I won't even talk about the Publix because I was going to do that later. Let's hear the news. This really, it's blowing my freaking head off what happened yesterday with President Crime Family and the Medal of Honor ceremony. In the Medal of Honor ceremonies done before by this disgraceful traitor to his country, President White Trash. In the ceremonies in 2021 and 2022, he stayed for the ceremony, did the honors of the ceremony. They had the ceremony, did the closing prayer, but he went boom, bang, everybody's fine. Yesterday, when he awarded the Medal of Honor to U.S. Army Captain Larry Taylor, 81 years old, for his action during Vietnam in 1968. Chopper pilot. Those guys are all heroes, and they're all nuts. Facing certain death. Somehow lived, saved his men. So President Scumbag talks about it, puts him without his mask on, by the way, puts his face right up close to the guy's face to sniff his hair, I assume. Puts the medal on the Medal of Honor recipient, Captain Larry Taylor, and then rather than wait for the audience to finish applauding and the MC to lead the concluding prayer, President pants on fire, just takes off. He starts walking down the aisle. He left the ceremony. Then they had the benediction while the Medal of Honor recipient, the Army captain, 81 years old, is standing all there by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, and someone said, I guess stay there. We don't know what to pray. He took off. President freaking zombie, President stupid, just freaking wandered off again like he always does. This has never happened before. And guess what, the official comment from the podium princess, Regine Fatin, she's black, she's gay, she's a girl, was originally, before they stopped her, well, he really doesn't like veterans. And then they changed that. And the spin came out now. They said, well, he was trying to save them from breathing on them. He didn't want to breathe on the people anymore in the ceremony, so, because he didn't have his mask on, so he decided to leave. Yeah, well, how come he put his lips about 4 inches away from that guy's face? If he was worried about it. You're trying to give the COVID virus that he says he's negative for, but who knows? You can test negative and have it in you and give it to somebody else for all we know. Everything they've said about it was a freaking lie. Anyway, I mean, it's just appalling. Some of the comments. Joe Biden just bolted out of the room immediately after awarding the Medal of Honor to Larry Taylor. The ceremony continued on for several minutes. Biden completely missed a concluding prayer. Young Americans for Liberty. A very confused President Biden walks out in the middle of the Medal of Honor ceremony before the benediction. Biden just ditched the closing prayer of the Medal of Honor ceremony. Absolutely abhorrent. What in the world's going on here? Biden just walks out of the middle of a Medal of Honor ceremony as people are applauding. Did he think it was the State of the Union? That's exactly what it was. Oh, my God. This brain-dead zombie thought it was the State of the Union, and he was walking out to the applause of the members of Congress and the Supreme Court who were applauding him for another wonderful speech about how he saved American democracy by trying to prevent the democracy from voting for 2 different people. Oh, my God. Biden bizarrely walks out of the ceremony honoring the White House before. It's clear he's suffering from cognitive decline, but Blue MAGA refuses to see it. They're conditioned to defend their leader and party no matter what. He wasn't supposed to leave yet. East Room ceremonies, they always ask people to remain in their seats while the president exits when the ceremony is finished. More mental confusion. I mean, what do we expect? The Afghan withdrawal? They're still taking credit for that, thinking it was a wonderful experience under troubling circumstances. The business, what was it? Was it 4th of July or 9/11 where he came out from the fires of hell with the gate of that red flaming fire behind him and the Marines in dress blues guarding the gate, and we complained about MAGA Republicans being the biggest danger to America while these, Marines behind him threatening to clamp down on all Republicans who voted for Trump. Man, what the hell is this hate-filled crap with this guy? They're using Marines to look good while he complains about everybody who voted for Trump, dividing America once again. And then he walks out in the middle of the Medal of Honor ceremony. He doesn't know where he is.
I think he heard the good humor man outside ring the bell.
Yeah, time for ice cream, boys and girls. Who wants chocolate? I guess, no, he likes Rocky Road. Isn't that it? I forgot. God, I mean, I'm appalled. I'm so angry about this. And again, who cares? Nobody cares. If it had been Donald Trump, and again, this is the same guy who was looking at his watch when they brought the dead bodies back from his disastrous Afghan pullout. And he kept looking at his watch. And finally, the father of one of the dead Marines called him on it and said, "It's 2:30, Mr. President. Stop looking at your watch." God, I hate him. I swear to God, I hate him. I hope he dies, but I don't want. I don't want him to be killed. I hope he. I can't. He's got to go, and we don't want Carmela. So I guess I hope he lives, for the end of his term, and then he's got to be gone. He's too old. Time to go. He's a disaster. He's a traitor. He's a crook. He's a criminal. My God, what more do we need? Every day there's more about Hunter Biden's laptop and the money, and their money trails are millions of dollars, the whole freaking family. The granddaughter got money from Uncle Ceausescu in Romania. My God. Leaving the Medal of Honor ceremony. That's how much, believe me, I'm going through this now with the Veterans Administration, so, don't have to tell me about how they deal with veterans. They really, you get to a certain age, they say, well, he's not going to be around that much longer, so, it's just, no big deal. It's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. All right. Well, we've got a lot more stuff, by the way, on presidential politics, and Donald Trump's back in the news, all kind of stuff. First of all, Pete Davis, let's do this. The Maui thing. This is really kind of weird. I don't know what to make of this. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on around social media because of the disaster and the fires in Maui and tremendous loss of life, property, everything else. All of a sudden now, Jason Momoa and Oprah are names in the news about possible scams or donation gimmicks or something. Pete, what do we know, and is this real? What's going on? Do you know?
Well, Jason Momoa went on his Instagram account to talk about scams, and I think Flounder has a piece of sound about what Jason had to say, if we can play that.
There's been some people on Instagram pretending to be me, asking for money. I am posting and reposting as much as possible to the proper places you can donate, but I am not reaching out to anyone. But please do not send money to these up people. Lahaina_Ohana_Venmo is directly delivered to the families in need.
Which is interesting because some people are saying that some of that attack was directed to Oprah and The Rock, who have tied together about that we've committed $10 million. They haven't committed one red cent. That basically they're committing your money if you donate to something that Oprah has set up. Well, I'm not giving one penny to something Oprah has set up. The woman is worth billions of dollars. She's buying up land in Maui hand over fist, according to reports. And her stuff didn't burn, amazingly. It was a miracle that her stuff didn't burn. Just like in Montesino, California, during their burns, nothing of hers burned. It was kind of weird about that. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around.
Yeah, and Flounder, in fact, here's a little something to remind you about what's going on with this whole Maui and Oprah deal.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui.
You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that you somehow managed to hire a private firefighting team to protect your land before the fires started. You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, you've hired a private security team to keep them off your land. You're so concerned about Maui that you simply haven't had time to denounce any of the shady real estate deals which are robbing people of everything they have. You know, like the ones you were involved in that helped you acquire that land for pennies on the dollar of what it was actually worth. You're so concerned about Maui that instead of taking what would amount to a year's salary for you and 4 or 5 of your billionaire friends, which could be used to rebuild the entire place in a matter of months, you're jumping on social media and asking the American public, most of whom can't afford to pay their rent right now, to do it for you. You're so concerned about Maui that it's more important that you get social media points than that you help.
That is a lady who is putting it pretty directly. And again, you know, isn't it sort of insulting if you're Oprah's a multi-billionaire? Just put the money. I mean, why make it $100 million? What do you care? I mean, you're never going to spend it. I mean, seriously, God, I don't get it. I'll bet there was some time in her life. And again, I know I was her original news guy in Chicago in 1982 or whatever it was. I was, I introduced her on the show every day. That's how she got her start. So, I mean, and I guarantee you, she came from very humble beginnings. I mean, raised by her grandmother who tried to call her Orpah and misspelled it on the birth certificate. That's why she's Oprah. My grandmother wanted to call her Orpah and misspelled it because she can't read and write. And I guarantee Oprah one day said, boy, if I'm ever rich, I'm really going to take care of that. Well, guess what? You're rich. You're a billionaire. So fork it over. What do you mean a match donation? What are you talking about?
Kimmer.
Yeah.
This is a young woman that came up poor in Mississippi and has drug herself up by the bootstraps. But can imagine what she could have done, how far she could have gone if she did not grow up and live in a racist, horrible country that held black women down like the United States of America.
Well, that's why we'll never have a black president, damn it. 3:30 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. We got Jeff Foxworthy coming up. Look out. How you doing? Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. We're going to do a little Jeff Foxworthy bit coming up here shortly. It's his 65th birthday today. 3:35 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. This is Great White. A little music here for a second. 2008, Great White rock band pyrotechnics sparked a fire that killed 100 people. They agreed to pay $1 million to the survivors and victims' relatives. It was at the Station nightclub in Rhode Island in 2003. The band's tour manager shot off pyrotechnics at the start of the concert. More than 200 people were hurt in the blaze. One band member, guitar player Ty Longley, was killed in the fire. The tour manager, David Bichelle, I'm not sure, pleaded guilty in 2006, 3 years later, to 100 counts of involuntary manslaughter and was given parole in March after serving less than half of a 4-year sentence. And I think, didn't they overload it? Or somebody didn't know that they'd already stuffed it and they put more in or something.
Well, it was only like a 12-foot ceiling or something.
Yeah, it was a small club.
It was too low.
It was oversold, probably.
Yeah, and clearly there was something about the drapes or something that was just a few feet away or something ridiculous like that. So, anyway, a quick birthday or two. Let's see. Michael Winslow. You may not know the name. Michael Winslow, 65. Michael Winslow played Larvell Jones in the Police Academy. Here's the guy who made the noises. He was a radar technician with a jammed radar in Spaceballs. Larvell Jones. He played that where he did the guy was walking around.
It's jam.
And this would have been Dolores Reardon's 52nd birthday. She died 5 years ago. Dolores Reardon from the Cranberries, Linger and Dreams. Anyway, it's not a shame. Here's a Flounders history guy writes this date in history, 1995. LAPD scumbag Mark Furman helped destroy an airtight prosecution by invoking his Fifth Amendment right to save his ass when he was called back to the witness stand at the O.J. Simpson trial. And again, by the way, Mark Furman was a pretty good cop. He was didn't he win the #1 bestseller author of his book about the crimes? I mean, he's a tremendously successful guy in many ways. But what an idiot went on and F. Lee Bailey said, "If you ever use the N-word," and he said, "No." Oh my God, you idiot! They have you on tape. Anyway, what he should have said was, I'm sure I have. I can't remember the last time, but I'm sure I have. Yes, it was wrong. It was wrong then. It would be wrong now. Sorry, Your Honor. That's right. Boom! It would have been over. Instead, all of a sudden, you planted that bloody glove, didn't you? I mean, give me a break. All right, hold on. Let's see. A quick update, and then we'll do more newsy stuff. And we're going to do a Jeff Foxworthy. I'm sorry, in just 1 second. First, a quick update. The Atlanta City Council is trying to figure out how to help the people who suffered a destroyed Publix supermarket in Atlanta at the Summerhill Publix. It's closed indefinitely because a crane was apparently going up the second floor of the parking garage nearby and fell, ruptured a water line, caused a diesel leak. Somebody got hurt, but apparently it crushed the Publix. The Atlanta Publix parking deck collapsed, shutting down the store. So the group Invest Atlanta's coming up with $1.5 million apparently to create jobs and do something to get it back. Summerhill Publix. So nobody has any food out there. Apparently, that's the only place within miles. So they're trying to fix it. So that's good. Let's see. All right, coming up, we have Holy Crap at Sports later. We have Skynet. We have Pete Streets. But first, I got this a nice note here, and then we're going to do a little something for a special treat. It's 3:40 is our time. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on 106.3. Note here says, "Hi, Flounder. Hope all is well, and wanted to share a recent experience I had with Jeff Foxworthy, if you want to include it in a segment. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Punchline for a charity benefit to honor a radio legend, Steve McCoy, who was in hospice for Parkinson's. Jeff Foxworthy was not scheduled to perform, but he came and did a 20 or 30-minute set to honor Steve. He was visibly choked up about Steve and revealed that they were next-door neighbors for many years. Jeff's set killed and made my chest hurt. I laughed so hard. Love listening to you guys and having something to look forward to every day, from David in Marietta. Without further ado, happy 65th birthday, Jeff Foxworthy."
Fact of life, women always have more questions than men have answers to. Great example of this. 6-7 months ago, I get a text one day. The text says, "Please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." I walk into the kitchen where my wife is. I said, "Hey, I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." She said, "Was he driving?" I said, "I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." "Were Carol and the kids in the car with him?" "I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." "Were the people in the other car hurt?" "I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." "What hospital did they take him to?" "I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck." She said, "Well, you don't know anything. What do you know?"
I said, "Well,
I know you need to pray for Tom. I just got a text that said he was in a bad wreck."
He's just, I mean, it's so refreshing. And he did it in the 80s. And from then on, and he's been a tremendous success ever since. God bless him. Anyway, apparently a very nice, I've never met him, but a very nice man, everybody says. Couldn't be nicer, couldn't be better. 341. Okay, to the actual program here. Carmela's side piece, America's shiftless and lazy vice president, is now saying, well, sure, our president's getting up there in age, but boy, golly, he's doing a wonderful job. And just in case, ladies and gentlemen, she says, I am ready to serve. Flounder?
Well, first of all, I'm answering your hypothetical. But Joe Biden's going to be fine. So that is not going to come to fruition. But let us also understand that every vice president understands that when they take the oath, that they must be very clear about the responsibility they may have to take over the job of being president.
They must have.
I am no different.
You know that. Yeah. So in other words, when you become president, you should know the responsibilities of the job. Is that what you're saying, ma'am? So in other words, if you're going to be president, you might want to know what the job entails. Is that kind of a Jesus? I mean, Mary and Joseph. This is unbelievable. If you vote for Joe, he's not going to run, but if he's on the ticket, you're voting for her. You're killing me here. Let's not forget, in 2020, she never got a vote. She never got one vote. She had to drop out because everybody hated her.
I was going to say she never got a caucus, but we all know she got a few of those.
Yeah, Have you had a checkup? Yeah, a couple of Germans. And that white guy I married. And by the way, she didn't take his last name, did she? You Flomflimb or some freaking thing? Anyway, remember, she didn't get a damn vote, not freaking one. She was a DA in San Francisco, and that's when she started having an affair with the guy who ran politics in California. He used to show up with her on his arm at public events when he was married. She was his side piece. Willie Brown, remember that name? He was a San Francisco mayor. He was the head of the legislature. He ran California for 40 years, and she was his side piece, along with Montel Williams. I mean, my God, she's a tramp. I'm sorry. She's a tramp. She got hinges on her heels. Dear God. And about overturning the results of the election, we'll let the evidence take the facts, take them where it may. I can't even talk about this. This also killed one more line over here. I just love this. She said, democracies are very fragile. They will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Yes, to save your democracy by preventing the other guy from being on the ballot. They want to save the democracy by preventing Donald Trump from being able to run for president again. To save the democracy from Donald Trump being on the ballot. That's not really saving democracy, you dirty, stinking, filthy liar. How come everybody in the media is not saying, ma'am, that's not what saving democracy means? You're being a hypocrite and everybody knows it, but they're afraid to say it. It's unbelievable. Oh, my God. All right, well, hold on. We got, coming up, we're going to be talking about love and relationships and marriage and cheating and splitting and getting caught and the Facebook thing that's still going around, hundreds of thousands. I mean, it's just amazing. Plus, an update on the hearted Publix. And, we got a million things coming up with the Kimber Pete Flounder. Quarter four. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. Look out. Da-da, I don't care. I like this song, actually. I don't mind telling you.
I bet you do.
No. It's a good beat, happy song. I don't even know what it means. This is the Village People. Well, I know.
Like the beat, huh?
I know. It's... Yeah. Well, it's the Village People, and on this very day in 2006, Victor Willis, who performed as the policeman in the Village People, was given 3 years probation for drug offenses after pleading no contest.
Double secret probation.
A double secret probation. Victor Willis wrote some of the group's biggest hits, including YMCA and In the Navy. Ship ahoy, sailor.
You know, there's a cough button right there.
No, I don't. I can't. It's just I'm not good. Jane Curtin. 76 years old today. And I remember when she was on my radio show, along with the whole crew of Saturday Night Live, were on my radio show, and she was sweet and wonderful. Wasn't particularly outgoing, and of course it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're all, they get them out of their hotel at 5:30 or 6 and drag them over to the radio station. So obviously, but she was Gilda Radner was just the cutest, sweetest thing ever. My wife made her a birthday cake because we knew it was her birthday, and Jane Curtin she was very nice and sweet and pleasant, but not very happy and not particularly outgoing. Pleasant, nothing bad to say about her. She just did not impress me. Jane Curtin
should have said, Jane, you ignorant.
And I was going to say, and again, of course, in that bit with the guy who was the guy who played, the other
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. Jane Curtin is 76. She was on NSL, of course, also and SNL. Kate and Allie and Third Rock from the Sun. Jane Curtin is 76. And speaking of comedian stuff, Swoozie Kurtz. You know who Swoozie Kurtz is? 79. She was Molly's mom on Mike and Molly, Jake Gyllenhaal's mom in Bubble Boy, and the lawyer Jim Carrey goes up against in Liar Liar. And
she was on a sitcom with Tony Randall.
Yeah, that's right. She'd been around for a long. She's 79. My God. Anyway, a quick thing in this day in history, and we're going to talk about love, marriage, cheating, and relationships here in a minute. On this day, 1995, the Senate Ethics Committee voted unanimously to recommend expelling Senator Bob Packwood, Oregon. He was accused of groping, hitting on, kissing, and grabbing 29 women's magnificent love mounds. He resigned the next day. So, there you are.
Now he'd stay around and fight the whole thing.
That's right. Exactly true. Anyway, let's see. I guess did I get everything up? Yeah, okay. Okay. Love and marriage is 3:52, by the way. We'll start this now. This is going to take us a couple of minutes. Well, and by the way, I'd love to hear your reaction to this stuff, particularly if you're a girl. We're going to talk about that Facebook post, and when I replied to it about, where is he? Where's the man we've always looked for? I mean, it's now over 100,000. And love and marriage, boy, this is going to be the topic. Well, not anymore for Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers is 34, and Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones, she was that giant redhead, plays the queen girl there. She's 27. They've been married for only 4 years. They have 2 children. In fact, let me get their names here. A little girl is a baby named DJ, and the other one is Willa. Anyway, 4 years, and so now they've made an announcement. He filed for divorce. Joe Jonas filed for divorce. They didn't say anything about why, but now they're speaking publicly. Quote, statement from the two of us. After 4 wonderful years of marriage, we have mutually decided to amicably end our marriage. Many speculative narratives as to why, but truly this is a united decision. We sincerely hope that everyone can, yes, ready, respect our wishes for privacy for us and our children. Bing, bang. Okay, they all say that. They all say it's like they just fill it out and everybody puts their name in there. He filed for divorce, and apparently because she's a party girl. Multiple narratives on social media saying she is a party girl, and that's why they're breaking up, because he couldn't take it anymore, even though they posted photos of themselves recently hugging and kissing and goofy so anyway, I guess you couldn't trust her after all there. They have a prenup. They sold their house recently in Miami for $15 million. They met after he messaged her on Instagram, got engaged after 1 year. And they had an impromptu wedding at the Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas, performed by an Elvis impersonator. Now, who'd have thought that would go bad? They later had a lavish ceremony in France to try to, but again. And they're saying, we amicably, let's leave the kid. But what a shame. 4 years, 2 little kids.
Well, look, she says that she felt stifled in the marriage, and she's 27. Obviously, he's a little older. He was ready to settle down and have kids and be a family man, and she wasn't ready because she was 23 when she married him, which is awful young. Yeah. That's not my age when I got married. I was too young.
I was younger than that.
Yeah, and it hardly ever works at all, much less when you marry that young. But I think there's something about a doorbell camera that he called her doing something on the doorbell camera. I'm like, how stupid is that to be schnookling with somebody on the front porch?
Was she kissing somebody or something?
I don't know, but
oh man, again, they broke up. Anyway, this is Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner, and after only 4 years. Speaking of relationships that break up, the Fulton County Commissioner named Natalie Hall is being censured by fellow commissioners because she apparently admitted that she's been having a sexual affair with her chief of staff, Calvin Brock, who is now suing for damages on claims of sexual harassment and job retaliation. The affair ended with his departure from his job as her chief of staff a couple of years ago. He accused her of planting several tracking devices in his car and harassing him. Apparently, she claims that she discovered he was sleeping with another girl. She was married at the time, I guess separated, but obviously, at least for a few hours at a time, she was pretty much separated. Anyway, so now she's in trouble being censored, and he's got a job, and he's suing and all that stuff, and they're having an affair at Fulton County, what you call it. Also, one of the famous cases that's going around social media right now is Prince George County police officer Francesco Mariette caught on camera with another woman, and now both women are taken to Facebook and social media to blast the other one and him. He's a cop, and there's video of him in his cop car, in his cop clothes, doing his cop stuff, and getting into his cop car with the back seat with his mistress. Well, his wife, Paula, started accusing her husband of cheating on her for years with his mistress, who she named as Virginia Pinto, who was dumped by her husband because she was also cheating. It's another going back and forth. I'll read some of that for you. He was unmasked yesterday and suspended by the police department outside of Washington, D.C. Let's see. The shocking video showed the uniformed cop kissing the scantily clad woman in a park, then climbing into the back of his police car with her. That shows the pair kissing as the woman touches his head. The woman then heads to the back of the car, and he has his arms around her. And it's not the first time he's been caught on video. By the way, some people were there, and you can see it. You can see the video. One guy named Nelson filmed it, and he said, "Oh my God, I'm out playing soccer with my family. As soon as I start recording, a car pulls up, a young lady comes out. We couldn't believe what we're seeing. What really made us go, oh my God, it's crazy. The car started rocking a little bit back and forth, left and right. And we're going, this is in broad daylight. My kids are here playing soccer." The woman and the guy drove off in opposite directions 40 minutes later. He said, "I'm glad I caught it on camera so Prince George cops could see what kind of police they have working for him on duty." The footage of the officer making out of the park was originally posted to TikTok, and it's been watched more than 2 million times. One guy says, look, he's taking her to the car. Another says, he's an animal, the bald cop. Thousands of users on the video. Needs to be a lose your job sound. Should have called the cops. Oh, right, you can't do that. And he says, meanwhile, a little old lady somewhere is getting robbed. I mean, oh my God. And by the way, the wife says, thank you, everyone. It's been a very tough time for me and the kids. As embarrassing and painful as this is, please check in on us. We need the support and love from our community and our families. Yes, I know what's been going on. No, I'm not updating anyone on the situation after today. Virginia's husband left her ass a long time ago because she cheated, so she and my husband decided to do this behind my back for years. I'm not seeking anyone, this is the wife speaking, I'm not seeking anyone else's input. I don't need anyone else's opinion. My life is my life. I will make decisions accordingly. I love you all, except Virginia. You can rot in hell, bitch. Virginia Pinto. Anyway, so she's apparently come to a realization she's going to be okay. She says the problem is when they say she's fine, are you okay? She said, well, I'm not really doing okay because every time I pop up my blanking phone news feed, I have to constantly rewatch the damn video over and over and over.
Yeah, I must have saw it on Twitter 4 or 5 times yesterday.
Anyway, and then we're going to have to come after the news break here to get the latest of what's going on in the world. But coming up, the Facebook update on Where Is He After All? Also, a controversial relationship set of rules by a hot chick and her boyfriend, both young. and ready and willing to trust each other with a set of 10 relationship rules. What do you think? I'd love your feedback. Coming up, almost 4 o'clock with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder here on 106.3. This is the Jam. All right, sir. Jam was on this day in 1980. I got to put my things on here. Where the hell's my things? Okay, I'm falling apart. 1980, the Jam were... That would be a collective now. Would it be the Jam were? The Jam was. The group The Jam was at number 1 on the UK singles chart with Start. It's their second number 1 and taken from the band's 5th album, Sound Effects. 1980, The Jam. There you are. Okay, donkey. And birthday list include the enormous Chris Christie. Former governor running for president, 61, which is also his waist size, which is fairly cool. And Chris... You're not going to be president. I'm sorry. By the way, you're going to have people say, I'm never going to vote for you because you're a big fat slob. It's just, I'm sorry. You can't blame all of it on metabolism because I saw his picture when he was in high school playing football.
Things you hear Chris Christie say. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready now.
Somebody spilled a box of Reese's peanut butter cups in the middle of the Christie family reunion. It was the live version of Hungry Hungry Hippo.
How many dead?
Life is like a bunch of chocolates. It doesn't last long for fat people. And I've been a member of Total Fitness for 1 year now, said Chris Christie. I don't see much progress, said his friend. I know, Christie replied. Tomorrow I'm going down there in person and find out what the heck is going on.
I love it. By the way, when's the next Holy Crap at Sports podcast?
What the hell's today?
Today's Wednesday. Probably
I did one
Thursday or
yesterday morning, which was kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a rough day.
Well, if you still got that,
I got through it though.
Yeah.
Got through it.
So. Have you still got the migraine business with the light and the stuff? Anything new on that?
I was feeling a little better yesterday afternoon. I got up this morning and the headache's back. So I got a doctor's appointment early Friday morning and a doctor's appointment early Monday morning before I go down there. So we'll see.
Well, that sucks. I mean,
it's probably I'm getting my eyes checked, so I probably need a new prescription. That may have something to, because you read so much on the computer and on your phone and in books and stuff. I'm reading so much.
Man, get the eyes. I had radial keratotomy by hand, and then I had the laser surgery, and I went from 2400 to 2010.
I will never have lasers stuck in my eyeballs.
My God, it was a miracle. It was unbelievable. I literally went from 20. I could not see the E on the eye chart. I went. That's 2,400. It means what other people see at 400 feet, I can see at 10 feet. Basically, what it was. I can't see past 10 feet if they can see at 400. And my vision went from 2,400 to 2010.
And you're still using glasses?
Well, no, I'm using reading glasses. But after I had my cataracts taken out, my vision got better again and didn't need reading glasses in my 70s until just recently. And in fact, I've only put them on once today. I haven't used them at all today.
How many procedures have you had on your eye?
2. 3. Well, 3. 3. I had radial keratotomy, then the laser, and then cataracts. Right.
You had 3 times.
Yeah. And I'm not having any migraines. How many migraines have I had?
Well,
0.
You didn't have migraines to begin with, so it may not have anything to do with
all
that.
Right, then. Don't get your eyes. I don't care. I have big other glasses.
Lasers in your eyeballs.
Oh, my God. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was scary. Anyway, whatever. All right, a couple things. Hunter's going to be indicted. I don't believe anything about this, that it's going to work. He's going to get away with something. You know, this is a crock. That special counsel never should have been involved because the special counsel is not supposed to be part of the government, and he is a U.S. attorney. So therefore, he's part of the government, and it's fix is in. The fix is in with David Weiss and Hunter Biden, and we'll find out later on this fall. I don't even have the story yet. It's just coming in. She mentioned it a minute ago. Also, quick, I don't understand this. How is it possible that the killer who escaped from prison by sneaking over a wall that was blinded by the guard tower, apparently, and has been on the loose ever since, they catch him every night on surveillance cameras in the woods? Oh, yeah, there's the guy. Here's a video showing he's walking around in the woods. Then go get him. I mean, wait a minute. I don't get it. Oh, he was there 7 hours ago. Well, gee, I got an idea. He was here 2 hours ago. Why did we send in the 5th Marine Division and just swamp the place? What the hell's the matter with you? It can't be that big. God, I mean, he's a murderer. I mean, what do you mean? Oh, there he is again on video. Oh, gee, let's go check that when we get a minute. First, how about some lunch? Yeah, I mean, my God. Oh, well, screw them. I bet that's the way you want to do it. I don't care. Also, there was some kind of news conference today with a bunch of Republicans and Mitch McConnell after his freeze-ups the last couple of, and I looked at it and said, I could not care less about what those Republicans are going to the microphone to say today because it means nothing until they actually start doing something. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about it or any of that other kind of crap. I mean, I don't believe them. I don't trust them. They're a bunch of name-only people, and until they actually start doing it. Now, we got one local guy doing it. Our guy, Chris Carr, and by the way, I'm reading this story to you without my eyeglasses on, Mr. Smarty Pants.
I'm watching you on YouTube, so you better be telling me the truth.
Let's see, there you are. Well, are you watching this? How about this? How about watching this? There you go. Hey.
Hey, this is PG-13.
Hey!
Yeah, I'll watch the whole thing there in a minute. Yeah, thank you. Well, our attorney...
You're going to need a magnifying glass.
Thank you. Yeah, pulled out a thread, had a horrible accident by mistake. That's a joke, a mistake. Attorney General Chris Carr has now sued 61 protesters, charging them with RICO charges. It's about time. Turning it around, federal charges, 61 protesters charged with violating the state's Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act. Additional charges of domestic terrorism, arson, and money laundering. Most of these scumbags are not from Georgia. There's more than 60 of them. More than 60 protesters, numerous acts of violence. They threw Molotov cocktails. And by the way, before we go back to the love thing, 22 years for the Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, who was not at the Capitol for the January 6th mostly peaceful Ashley Babbitt got murdered by a rogue cop day. He was not even there, but he texted things saying, we need to take back our country. This is 1776, a revolution all over again. He was calling for an American revolution. He was speaking by text. He was writing it down. And because of that, he's going to federal prison for 22 years. He didn't hit a cop. He didn't hit anybody with a fire extinguisher, although nobody else did either. He didn't kill anybody. 22 years. And let's remember the two lawyers who in 2020 threw a Molotov cocktail on fire into a police car. One of the lawyers got 15 months in jail. The other lawyer got 1 year and 1 day. Throwing a lighted, fiery Molotov cocktail into a police car. That was one of the many things that happened in the year of love of 2020 and 2021 when Antifa and Black Lives Matter were burning down America. All those people, none of them went to prison for 22 years.
Not only that, the vice president and other people actually funded to have them released on bail.
Bailed them out. Yeah, bailed them out. Now, you tell me this. Now, obviously, if you're calling for an insurrection or a revolution or whatever, that, you know, if you're breaking a law, if there's a conspiracy thing and you get caught and punished for it, that's one thing. 22 years? He wasn't even there? You got to be kidding me. Talk about a double system. And Hunter Biden got away with all of it until finally the Republican Congress said, oh, wait a minute. We got these texts and emails here, Pally. Oh, my God. Our country's gone. I can't believe this. I've never heard of such a thing. Absolutely disgusting.
By the way, Rocco has weighed in.
Wait, Rocco, go ahead.
Rocco says, Pete will get eye surgery when Kimber gets a smart TV with Netflix.
All right, we're doing a GoFundMe. I've tried, I'm not going to spend any money on myself. I bought one pair of jeans the other day for $29 because they were waist 32 and they fit. 32-inch waist, by the way.
That's my waist.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't had a 32-inch waist since I was 12.
Well, Flounder, give him.
I got a couple extra pair of jeans. If you,
your kid brother there, help him out.
That's unbelievable. Anyway,
I tell you, tomorrow you need to wear the T-shirt.
Oh, and by the way, the shoe update. I went to DSW again, and the Nunn Bush has a great pair, a couple of casual kind of bucks looking tie-up lace bucks with a little rubber heel stuff. I'm looking for that kind of that new thing everybody's wearing, and all this.
Are you wanting like white soles?
No, yeah, well, kind of, yeah, with that look.
Red soles.
No. It's kind of like the ones the sports guys all wear with the suits, which looks stupid.
My dad has a couple pair. I'll find out where
well, the problem is the sizes. DSW, Dillard's, I went all those places. They either have size 13 or 8.5. I mean, come on, you're killing me. I'm not going to order them over the phone and hope that it's a 10.5 wide and it works, or 11 wide. I mean, you know what I mean? So I have to keep searching until I find somebody who's got a freaking 10 or a 10.5 or 11 that'll fit me with the shoes I'm looking for. It's unbelievable. Shopping in America.
We're talking shoes.
Yeah,
right?
shopping. No, we're talking shopping in America. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't like I have to get a freaking app. I don't like I have to look on the freaking internet and rely on mailing people to get my freaking shoes. What happened to shoe stores? It's fartain. Shoe stores. Star-Spangled Rodeo. They would say, "Daddy, Daddy, please play Rhinestone Cowboy on the radio," and I would, even though I was doing a talk show. This record gained 3 Grammy nominations and was the Country Music Association's Song of the Year in 1976. Glenn Campbell.
Remember the Congresswoman, what was it, Frederica Wilson? She wore those rhinestone cowboy hats and just looked like a moron.
Yeah, she was a moron. She was an idiot. Oh, my God. I got to have a thought about her.
Remember she wore those hats?
Yeah, but I forgot what she was so stupid about. I forgot what the issue was, and she kept making a fool of herself, and I kept saying, "Stop talking." It was like me when I get in a rant. Anyway, Glenn Campbell. And again, I had him on my radio show where we worked years ago. And he brought his guitar. He came in there, and he was the nicest man. I can't say enough about what a nice gentleman he was. Honest, decent, happy, down to earth. Admitted his cocaine problem with that little hottie Tanya Tucker, was it, or one of the country girls? And he was open and honest, and did anything we wanted. He was just a very nice man, and he eventually had dementia.
I have on good authority that he was once in a surfer band from the West Coast.
He played the Beach Boys. He did. In fact, Glenn Campbell was a musician, guitar player. He was a what they call studio musician, and he would play guitar for anybody who needed a guitar player, for people making songs or records, whatever. And that's what he did. What's that? Is that bad?
Clayton said I should ring the bell. He's not a big Campbell fan.
Oh, well, how about how about maybe Jeez. How about maybe I'm a big Glenn Campbell fan? How about that? How about it's my freaking show? When you get your own show, I'll call you and say, "Stop talking." How about that? Jeez. Anyway, he was a musician. He played for everybody. He was one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And then he used to do a little background stuff. And finally, someone said, "Hey, geez, you got a great voice. You ought to do your own stuff." And he did, and became Bing Bang. Then he had his TV show. Glenn Campbell, summer filling on CBS, I believe. Anyway, Glenn Campbell.
Replaced the
Smothers Brothers. Yeah, when they got in trouble with CBS because they kept going on about Vietnam, and they finally had to fire him or take him off or whatever it was. Anyway, all right, how you doing? It's only me. It's on the camera. Here's the number, 420. Here's the time, 421. Here's a phone number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Anybody else on YouTube on the YouTube gangbangers that want to get involved here, Pete, before we move on here?
The what now?
I say, are there any YouTube gangbangers commenting on anything before we move on?
Yeah.
Reacting?
Yeah, but we'll just keep moving.
So in other words, they don't like, I'm being bad today, is that what they're saying? Tell Kimber.
There's as usual, there's a lot of critique about which subjects you've chosen and how you're doing it, and repeating the Glenn Campbell story.
Oh, Jesus God. What the hell? What story? I want to hear this. I mean, this is important. I mean, am I?
All right,
and by the way, David Dickey just walked by and waved at me. So kiss my ass. How about that? I swear to God, just him. You walked right by like 9 seconds ago. You walked right by and waved and said, "Big smile and everything."
Yeah, and Tony Soprano used to kiss you on the cheek before he whacked you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, be very careful, my friend. So what do they say? What's wrong with my topics? I mean, we went over this.
First, Sophia thought you should have hit that Antifa thing a little earlier than you did. David says you need to go to Cabela's up 75 in Ackworth because they have shoes. Then he called you a Nimrod.
Wait, but Cabela's, that's a sporting goods store.
But they got some shoes there. They don't have but
I bet they might have those sporty.
Problem.
Okay, yeah.
Sophia, too bad this Glenn Campbell story isn't interesting since he tells it so often.
Oh my God, I haven't told it in a couple of years since the last time he died.
Yes, you have.
Well,
Carl
all right.
Forrest, we're going to hear another Glenn Campbell story again.
Dear God.
Clayton said, "Ouch," because you went after him there. Let's see.
Don't hold back, Pete.
All right, forget it. All right,
wait, because Stephanie has a joke.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And we're going to do Jeff Foxworthy again later, too. Go ahead.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
Anyway, change of topic. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Dead. Dinner. I don't know. What?
A FSH.
Oh, God. A fish, yeah. Mm-hmm. A fish, yeah. Mm-hmm. Get it without the eye, you see. There's no eye in the word. That's what he meant there. With the eyeball would not be. Spelled it if you want.
You asked me to read it.
I asked you to read the whole thing. And again, they're going to complain about me. Oh, come here to that stupid joke. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Let's see. What else? All right, hold everything. Oh, chill. You want to do a relationship thing now with this funny chick with her list of rules?
Yeah, do the list of rules. I like that one.
Okay. Here's the deal. Her name is Gia. She lives in Los Angeles, and she is, I've got her job, she's a real estate agent, and her boyfriend, she's 21, and her boyfriend is a few years older, I think. It's in here somewhere. I'll try to find it. Anyway, so here's, she says, she has a list that sparked debate on social media. Some say it's sensible, some say it's way too strict. The 21-year-old did a lengthy video where she says you have to trust each other and have nothing to hide. Under those conditions, here they are. Number one, you both need to have your phone location turned on at all times for convenience and safety, but have it turned on at all times. It's convenient knowing where your boyfriend is without asking, especially if you're meeting up somewhere after work. Neither one of us have anything to hide. Number two, their boyfriend is never allowed to go to strip clubs. I don't get the point of a guy with a girlfriend going to strip clubs, a bunch of naked chicks dancing on him, and also raunchier things. Not to mention, are you paying her bills? You should be paying my bills. Number three. Now, there's a little bit of change to this, but again, her boyfriend is never allowed to attend strip clubs. Number three, the third rule, they are allowed to go on girls' trips or boys' trips with friends because their independence is important. We completely trust each other, started dating at a really young age. We both feel it's important to experience our own things. If I want to go on a girl's trip, I'm going. If he wants to go to a car show, he can go. Trust each other. Go on a girls' or guys' trip. Number four, there are some tight rules when it comes to social media. Neither of them are allowed to like thirst trap posts on Instagram. I don't know what that is.
A thirst trap is somebody trying to get attention, usually in a sexual nature. You post a lingerie shot or something like that.
So she says if it gives a person the idea that they caught your attention, which is a big no-no. So she doesn't like the attention-grabbing, flirty type stuff on social media, Instagram. Number five, what's more, they are also, boyfriend, not allowed to follow Instagram models of the opposite sex, which is inappropriate. Why are you following a random person you're attracted to? Number six, Gia is happy for her boyfriend to be friends with other women, but they can't be best friends as this makes her uncomfortable. He can be friends with women, but not a best friend with women. We're each other's best friends, so we need to be each other's priorities. Again, she's 21. This is a very adult list so far. Number seven, we also have some boundaries, like no sleepovers with the opposite sex. Well, oh my God, duh. Anyway, we all have boundaries. Like, honey, I'm going to sleep. Mary Jane's coming over, but we'll probably, keep them quiet. No sleepovers with the opposite sex, and if someone of the opposite sex is being flirty or anything, then that's a big no too. So no sleepovers with the opposite sex or getting flirty stuff with the opposite sex. That's number seven. Number eight, the couple are allowed to go to nightclubs with friends and know each other's phone passwords, but neither of them is allowed to watch porn. Oh. She says, this one might be controversial, but I'm not cool with porn. I think it's really toxic for you. She's 21. I think it's really toxic for your mind. It gives you unrealistic standards, and it's super addictive. My boyfriend and I practically live together, so it just seems very unnecessary. Number 10, for the final rule, the couple promised each day they will not get married until they're financially stable. She says, I'm still in college. I need to be financially free before we get married. Not only are we super young, weddings are expensive. We're both me and my boyfriend are both going to want to have the biggest, most insane wedding you've ever seen. So anyway, so there you are. Phones on, no strip clubs, girls trips, boys trips okay, no thirst traps, no following Instagram models, friends okay, can't be best friends opposite sex. You can go to nightclubs, both know each other's phone passwords, no porn, and no married until you're ready financially.
If I had those rules when I was younger, I'd probably still be married.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of this, for example, if your girlfriend says, guess what, my girlfriends and I are going to Cancun for spring break. I think I would have a problem. I mean, I'd be glad for her, but I would love her and trust her if she were mine. But still, you're asking for trouble. I don't know. I mean, again, I think that's my age. I think that's just my demographic.
When you're talking about age, for the really young, the 20-somethings,
I don't think they care about
the porn one is very important. She's dead on about the porn thing. If you're in a relationship and you're still looking at porn, it does everything she says it does.
In fact, I don't think I ever looked at porn when I was married. Oh, I'm sorry. I've never been married. I've never been in love or married. I'm sorry. I slept for a second. Yeah. Anyway, so now what do you think about those rules? They're very adult. We got like 10 seconds for the break here, but I'm pretty impressed with the 21-year-old chick.
They're very young to be thinking about getting married. And they've been together since they were very young. It's very hard to do that. Every once in a while you meet someone that's been together for 60 years, but you don't meet them very often.
Yeah. Well, I was married at 21.
I was married at 23. Yeah.
Or 20 actually. I was married at 20. Anyway, 4:30. We got Jeff Foxworthy coming up and more stuff, actual topics, and the whole deal with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder right here. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Jimi Hendrix. Oh, yeah. Whale, baby, whale. That's Jimi Hendrix. On this day, 1970, Jimi Hendrix made his final live appearance at the Isle of Femmen in Germany. Isle of Femmern, maybe? I'm not sure of that. In Germany, final appearance of the guitar player Jimi Hendrix died 12 days later after choking on his own vomit. I thought, horrible.
Not a lot of covers are better than the original, but this one can be argued. Bob Dylan is the one who originally did this.
Yeah, really? I don't see. I did not know that. Flounder, you're the music man, man. You're a freaking music man.
Pete's got a little more knowledge than me.
Pete, well, he's been around longer, so he's got 20 years on.
You guys are old.
Yeah, well, now, wait a minute.
Like me.
I'm so freaking old. I can't even look. I swear to God, I can't even look at myself. I look at my arms. What the hell happened to you? Who are you?
You know, I had something happen to me the other day. My whole life, I've been told I look younger than I am.
Yeah.
Okay. I had something happen to me for the first time the other day, and it basically set me back for a couple hours.
Yeah, I've been there.
I had someone look at me and say, are you retired?
They look at me and say, are you dead?
Are you wrecked?
If I have a hat on, I can get away with not looking my age. But most people do that anyway. It's not a big deal. I don't know. Who cares? At this point, I don't give a damn. Our birthday list, and speaking of not old, Idris Elba, the actor, 51. He was Heimdall in the Thor movies, Stringer Bell on HBO's The Wire, Nelson Mandela in The Walk to Freedom, the voice of Tiger Shere Khan in the Jungle Book movie, and he was in. He's been in a bunch of things. He's a really good actor.
Yeah. If he was younger, he'd probably be the best choice for Bond.
James Bond, yeah, absolutely.
But he's a little older.
Well, he's 51. Yeah, it would have to be it would have to have been a coming out of retirement kind of a deal. Macy Gray, the R&B singer, is 56, and Rosie Perez, The actress, Puerto Rican actress known for soothing, non-obnoxious voice, Rosie Perez, is 59 today.
White Men Can't Jump, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
First one.
I believe. With Woody Harrelson, was it?
Yeah, and who's the guy who played Blade? Wesley Snipes, I think.
Well, yeah. Oh, my God. Let's see. A quick history update thing here. In 1932, a de Havilland 110 fighter aircraft drew roars from the crowd at the Farnborough Air Show in Hampshire. At the crowd at the Farnborough Air Show in Hampshire, England. Unfortunately, as soon as they heard the boom, the de Havilland 110 fighter aircraft disintegrated in midair, showering the crowd with chunks of burning steel. 93 people were killed or injured.
Wait. What are you telling me? You're telling me that at some point World War II aircraft are unsafe to fly in?
Wow.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yowie. 52, good grief. It disintegrated at an air show. Good heavens, this America tried. Excuse me. By the way, I've been teasing the Publix update. Can I do that quick Publix update on the heart thing? This morning, excuse me, I was at the Publix and took some video again today. Yesterday when I went to Publix, I had to get some $40 out of whatever for my yearly expenses. And so I did the thing, and somebody had left a little doodad there, and it was a quilted heart with a note, and it said, take this home, it'll bring you joy, and, we love you, something like that. And it was just for somebody to take. And I put it on Facebook and Rumble and all that kind of stuff, YouTube. And then today I went back to buy some candy for Flounder. I bring him little candy things every day. And so I was going in Publix, and sure enough, I went to the ATM at the entrance, and there it was again. And I said, holy cow, here we go again. And I said something on tape. I said, geez, I said, I saw it yesterday, and I wanted to leave it because it was such a sweet note. I hope this brings you joy. Take it home and enjoy. And I thought it was so sweet that I wanted to leave it for someone else who needed it because I got nothing going. Anyway, so today I thought, oh my God, and I did the video and I said, really, somebody should take this because, somebody probably does need some joy and this maybe do something. So someone should take it. Well, I got some reaction. First of all, Sherman says, they put a tracking device in it, which is a little cynical. And Bud said, yeah, I thought so myself too. My daughter Jennifer says, you guys are way too suspicious. And then Kimberly came to the rescue, said, that's a different one from yesterday. They're not the same colors. And then KC Paygirl said, hey, Kimber, it's the FBI following you. Leave it there. So anyway, I thought that was fairly amusing. And I guess I may go back to I'm not going to go to their Publix every day. Anyway. I want to play, what is it, 439. Did we play, we didn't play our birthday boy, 65-year-old Jeff Foxworthy this half hour, have we?
We have not.
Okay, we'll do that now. And then coming up, you're going to hear Tucker Carlson interviewing the guy who was the gay lover with Barack Hussein Putty-Tat. Also, we got some newsy stuff on masking in the schools. Also, have you heard about the guy who wanted to run his way in a cage across the Atlantic Ocean? In a cage using leg power. Well, he ain't going to be able to pull it off. Also, we got a bunch of things. First of all, 65-year-old happy birthday, Jeff Foxworthy. $65-year-old Jeff Foxworthy. You might be a redneck. What a brilliant line. I mean, what a brilliant gig. What a brilliant program. I mean, it's just brilliant. And it's the kind of thing that you can update and change and never get old and always be funny.
He took over the mantle of Louis Grizzard. He kind of just jumped right there when Louis passed away and became the Southern comic.
I think that's absolutely correct. Yeah,
even though Lewis was more of a writer. And
he was a storytelling. But still, you're right. I mean, in terms of the Southern, good old boy, old-fashioned, funny, non-offensive humor about lifestyles and families and stuff. I mean, it was really, really classic.
And I think Jeff and James Gregory do the best at talking about Southerners.
I tell you, I like James Gregory. If I flounder, get a James. If the hell you want to do it now, let's do it. What the hell? And then we're going to talk about. We'll have Tucker Carlson. You'll hear him talk about stuff. I got masking. We'll talk about the Florida mom and the 5-year-old girl showing a what for the peeping Tom guy, and a bunch of actual news stuff, including a special animal story, Pete's tweets, and everything else. But can you find a little James Gregory? But just real quick, if I doing another Southern funny guy. I love this James Gregory most of the time here. He's fine. He's got to go through the YouTube commercials.
Anything about casseroles at funerals
is he a cusser?
No.
Okay, just got to make sure because
we'll beep it if he. I'm sure he does not. No. There's one about the airplane. It's about you can just pick anything really. Anything you probably have to go through the commercial.
Well, you don't have to do it right now.
That's right. I did. Oh, here we go.
At 30,000 feet,
airplane.
If something comes loose and falls off, it's pretty much over. It's not like you can go where's that noise coming from? To me, there's no such thing as a safe airplane. At 30,000 feet.
I was just repeating.
If something comes loose and
is it just a one line?
Yeah, it's a real.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I'll find some more.
That's no big deal. Yeah, but it's he's a very funny guy. If you haven't heard him before, we'll give you a little treat here later on. I got 4:44 already. Quick, we're going to talk. We'll have Tucker Carlson interviewing the apparent gay lover of Barack Hussein Putinat coming up here shortly. Also, just a quick update on masking. Here we go again. Alabama junior high schools, all student, staff, visitors start wearing face masks in classrooms and hallways. Alabama Talladega City schools wear masks encouraged. Maryland Elementary School outraged this week, saying students have to wear the N95 tightly fitted masks until further notice, probably 10 days at least. New York health officials are giving free masks, saying you got to wear these all of a sudden all over New York State. The same thing in classrooms in Los Angeles. Here we go. And by the way, the latest pandemic offshoot is called the every 4-year election virus. I mean, here we go.
And you know who's behind this? Who's on the front row of this? The teachers.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep. There's no evidence that masks actually reduce infection rates. Mounting research say it's a bunch of crap. And we know masks do stunt children's social development and education. Masks are worse for what they do to children than they are for any possible benefit they do for adults.
Teachers
We're ruining a whole generation of kids, 2 generations of kids. Anyway, coming up. And also, we got it all. Stand by with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 4:45 already. Wow.
Clad women running around, which I don't blame him.
Well, no, you got to have that.
Paul McCartney.
Well, sure.
1968. He goes, "Come here, I want you to listen to something." So he takes the guy upstairs and he put down some acetate copy of "Back in the USSR," which was the first song on the White Album, right? Mm-hmm. And he basically, and I always thought my entire life this was a dig at us, and it was a dig at the Beach Boys, and because it sounds like the Beach Boys, the harmony, all that stuff. Yeah. And I always thought it was kind of a dig at us because they started the album off with it and all that. But I never had confirmation of it. And the guy says, McCartney looked at him after he played, and he says, "What do you think the cocky Americans will think about that?"
Yeah, ooh. Well, that's fine. You know, there was a thing going on back then. You know, I could see that.
It just pissed me off because my whole life I thought that was true, and then they just proved it.
Yeah. Well, now, see, you know too much. You know, somebody's got to back off. Stop investigating stuff. You know.
I didn't. It was just right there. You see this stupid thing.
Well, see, I think I already have enough in my head. I don't need to be distracted by all this information coming to me all the time. You know, it's just bad.
He trapped me with a story about Beatles groupies, and the next thing I know, I'm reading that.
Oh, my God, man.
It was a thirst trap.
It was right. 4:52. By the way, you want to do a flower? Nobody's picking it. I haven't heard a Peach tweets or a Skynet coming up here this half hour.
What the hell?
I got to do the Tucker. We're going to do a Tucker soundbite here shortly. So, Flounder, what's your pleasure? You want to do a Tucker? There we go. And now you're talking. And also coming up, the Florida mom bragging about her 5-year-old daughter who helped catch a pervert. But first, we got Peach and Peach tweets.
I don't have any today.
Oh, okay. Well, good night, everybody.
Tim Facebooks, although initially unpopular, Pumpkin went on to become the most successful of the Spice Girls. Pumpkin Spice.
Pumpkin Spice. And by the way, it's all over the stores already. Have you seen it in the stores? pumpkin-flavored pumpkin thing.
Already? That started in August almost.
Yep, started 2 weeks ago.
Pumpkin has no flavor. I don't understand
I will not eat pumpkin anything.
Twitter anonymous confession.
Yeah.
I work from home, but my wife doesn't know it. She thinks I leave for the office every day, so I have to walk out the door every morning at 8:30 a.m., park the car around the corner, walk back after she leaves, turn the Ring doorbell off before coming back inside and going to bed. Now, why do I do this? Because if she knew I worked from home, she'd make me do all the housework.
Well, that's going to be pretty hard to pull off after a while, wouldn't it?
Yeah, seriously. She's going to come home one day early and catch it.
Honey? Maybe she's bringing her boyfriend home, too, and that'd be a shocker.
Oh, yeah. That would be one. I'm an older lady who desperately wanted children but never had any. Sometimes I just go to the park and watch them play because it makes me happy. I'm so glad I'm not a man because people might think I'm a bit dodgy doing that as a guy rather than just being a depressed old woman. Please go home and hug your children.
Oh, my.
You know what the sad thing is? If a guy was to do that, someone would probably call the cops.
Okay, yeah, be a pervert. Yeah.
Right. Like if a guy hung out at the horse
well, yeah, if he was hanging around. He didn't even have a horse, but he kept showing up for all the little girls
parking lot at the Publix,
riding on the little horses.
Taking videos of them.
Yeah, I put them on the video. Oh, God.
I'm surprised they haven't called somebody on
leaving work.
Thank you.
Yeah. And did you know a propeller is just a big fan in front of the plane to keep the pilot cool?
I did not know that.
Because when it stops, you can actually see the pilot begin to sweat. And finally, one last thing. Yeah. When Robert Heinlein, the science fiction writer, wrote this, and I've always thought about this, a human being should be able to, and mark down what you can do.
Okay.
Change a diaper.
Yeah.
Plan an invasion.
Well, no.
Butcher a hog.
No.
Con a ship.
No.
Design a building.
No.
Write a sonnet.
Yes.
Balance a count.
Yes, depending on
build a wall.
Yes, depending on the wall.
Set a bone.
No, I don't think I'll be sitting.
Comfort the dying.
Yes, we've done that.
Take orders.
Yeah, so I've done that.
Give orders.
Done that.
Cooperate.
Done that.
Act alone.
Done that.
Solve equations.
Well, they mean high school math? I don't know what they mean.
I don't know.
Right.
Analyze a new problem.
Yeah, well, we do it every day. We're trying to put this stupid show together. I'm sorry.
Pitch manure.
Yeah,
which we also do every day, putting this stupid show together.
I've done that all my life, yeah.
Program a computer.
Nope.
Cook a tasty meal.
Yep.
Fight efficiently.
Yeah.
And die gallantly.
Well, not yet. Probably not. Probably die crying.
Specialization is for insects, is what he says. That's his point. He says you should be able to do more than one thing.
Well, I mean, we can all do 5 or 6. I mean, hell, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'd like 14, but I can't do, set a bone, con a ship. Right rudder. What the hell?
Well, I can con it, but I'm going to send it to the rocks.
Yeah, it's not going to go where it wants to go. It's not going to end up where it's supposed to, but oh my God. I mean, give me a break. But you should teach your kids things like changing a tire and I mean, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, wrong thing. By the way, coming up, speaking of tweets, I'm going to, it's 4:56 already. After the 5 o'clock news, we got Pete's Holy Crap at Sports coming up. And also Skynet update and some other things. And I want to play the Tucker Carlson interview here, Flounder, if you don't mind. But also coming up, some reaction to that Facebook post again from a woman saying, where is he? Where is the man that we all look for? And it's exploding. And all these stories we had today about the breakups and the cheating and the getting caught and the loving and the stuff, the Joe Jonas and Sophie and the things. Something's going on. And it's all become a social media event now about love in America. I don't know. Something's really messing up my head.
It's a backlash. We've been doing 70 years of liberal, free sex, crap stuff like that. And I think you're getting backlash where this generation wants to go back to maybe more traditional values.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that right after the news. Have we got a couple minutes here, Flounder? Is this a Tucker Carlson interview with a guy who had sex with Barack Hussein Putty-Tat?
So this is pretty much a preview of what the full interview. So this is just kind of a
minute and a half or so.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
You're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah. Pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people.
I mean, it could be something that maybe somebody ought to look into.
There could be something here.
Oh, my God.
It's what we call a clue.
Yeah, now they are saying the guy, Tucker's getting creamed for this. They're saying he's a convicted criminal and he failed a lie detector test. However, he also says that somebody said that they rigged the polygraph with help from Obama's advisor, David Axelrod, which I would not deny at all or be surprised with in the least little bit. But they say, you questioned his birth certificate, called him a Muslim, got mad when he wore a tan suit, you lied about his policies, and claimed he took drugs and got a beat. It's racism, homophobia, and Islamophobia all over the place. Look how low Tucker Carlson has fallen. Oh, my God. He's like quintupled the number of millions of people watching him now on his... what does he come on? Twice a week? I don't even know how often he does his little tweet things. Do we have any idea?
Once a week,
Just
once every other
like
week.
it?
Yeah, pretty much when he feels like it.
Now, I have yet to... I don't do that kind of... I don't go on Twitter on my phone to, watch Tucker Carlson. Can you watch him on TV, or is it only on your phone or computer?
Via internet, so it's streaming.
Streaming? Oh, I got to get that streaming.
So I mean, he's on Twitter, so that's the platform.
I got to get that app there.
You'll never see it.
No, it's not going to happen. 5 o'clock. Holy crap! Sports is coming up. The news. We'll talk more about President Scuzzbag and the Medal of Honor disgraceful ceremony. The way he left in the middle of it. Shame on you. 5 o'clock. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right a blank. Ready on your dog. Target. Let's get them heels, ladies. Road guards out. Look out. It's only me. Don't be scared. It's only the Kimmer 504 with Pete Davis and Flounder here at 106.3. Having a little goofy day. It's kind of a weird day today. Hunter Biden's going to get indicted by the end of the month. And again, if you heard the news just a minute ago, this is typical. His lawyers have said, well, no, we've already solved the whole gun charge thing. Again, when the fix was in, David Weiss, who's now the special counsel, he was the U.S. attorney, he let them get away with signing a deal that Hunter would not be charged. He would get a diversion program for the federal felony crime of lying and cheating on his gun registration. He should have been going to jail for it, and they put him in a diversion program, which has never happened before for a guy with drug history, of problems of breaking the law and all this kinds of stuff. It's never happened before. And now the prosecutor is saying, well, now, wait a minute, the deal was over. The judge who threw out this deal we had before means the whole deal is over. And Hunter's lawyer saying, oh, no, that deal's still in place. No, we signed that. We can't. So here we go again. The freaking fix is in. And we don't even know what the charges are. They'll charge him with something. I guarantee you he's going to get away with it. And there ought to be a revolution. Anyway. Oh, by the way, coming up not only Holy Crap at Sports in a little bit, but also Pete Davis. with a recipe quiz of some sort. That's coming up. Oh, yeah. Also, you're going to hear a couple things on Maui and the Oprah and Jason Momoa and Vice President's side piece, a shiftless and lazy Vice President. It was she's ready to take over. But for a million things, a trillion things coming up here, including an update on that Facebook post of a lady saying, "Where is he? Where's the guy we're all looking for?" Well, we got a lot of reaction to that, and there's 100,000 of them after I posted also about, what do you care? You'd get bored with him anyway. Is that a phone call? I see a pink thing. Is that an actual call? I'll wait for Flounder. He's got Flounder's in the back. Now he's got to come up to the front to tell me what's going on.
Clayton.
Oh, by the way, Clayton. I was going to ask Clayton what he wants me to do next because I wasn't sure about the rundown that he's got in mind for what he wants to hear. It could be Biden. It could be Putty Tat. It could be Carmella. It could be Holy Crap at Sports Early. I don't know. Maybe he wants us to do Skynet. I don't. Clayton, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, Clay. Yeah, I can hear you fine. What should I do next? What's up? How's it going?
Well, it's going great. And to be honest with you, it's your repetitive grandfatherly stories that make us love you.
I could be president. I could be president.
Well, no, you'd have to lose quite a few IQ points to do that.
Well, that's very kind.
But I do. I tell you one thing, if you really want my advice.
Yes, I do.
I loved your story from way, way back about how you used to get on the floor and color with your daughters.
Yeah.
I thought that showed your heart and how you love kids and stuff like that, which,
and I
really like.
And I would do it upside down. I would have like little Molly or somebody or my daughters would be, and I would be upside down to covering up from opposite them. It was sweet. It was, it's just things with your kids anyway. So,
Those are the definite moments. And then there was I was going to tell you about Steve Winwood. You like his newer stuff, like that Higher Love and those songs.
I like that, yeah. A couple of them. Steve Winwood, yeah, absolutely. I do it. Yeah.
Well, really, his greatest work was way earlier when he was with Blind Faith. And with Traffic.
Yeah, I remember.
The guy's voice back then was even better. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And
Steve Winwood and Don Henley. Both Don Henley and Steve Winwood are the guys from the 80s that I really don't you know what the night means? I mean, just all all those things. I just love those. So I have them on my Magic music stick.
Well, that's what I mean. It was more the 60s when Winwood was doing Blind Faith and all.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, enough of that.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, I was going to talk about President White Trash and the way he behaved at the Medal of Honor ceremony. Holy criminy! I mean, Clayton. I'm overly sensitive because I'm stupid and crazy and half nuts. I'm a freaking Marine, and so I'm stupid, crazy, and biased, and we all know that. So, apart from me, do you have a reaction to President Potato Head walking away from the ceremony, just kind of wandering off when he's never done it before? And I don't know, how did you do? You have a reaction, and what do you think?
Well, if you're not mad or crying these days, you're not paying attention. And he's totally out of it. He does not know where he is. He got done doing what he was told to do there, and then didn't know what else to do, so he just turned and walked away.
I wonder. I honestly wonder when he left. He waited. He didn't even wait for the audience to stop applauding or the MC to read the concluding prayer, and he left the hero, the Army Captain Larry Taylor, who just received the Medal of Honor, left him standing there by himself while he wandered off. And honestly, I wonder whether he thought, like somebody mentioned, I wonder whether he thought this was the State of the Union address. And it was time to, congratulate with the Supreme Court justices sitting there and the military people there, the chief of staff and everything. As always, he's waving to the crowd that I've done my duty and by God, I'm here for America. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm so offended by this, and I can't help but remember what he did with pulling out of Afghanistan. I mean, it's a murderous, traitorous, treasonous behavior by every one of those generals, too.
Amen. I've been listening to the Gold Star family's
oh my God
testimony, and
looking at his watch, and that father said it's 2:30. Oh God.
Yeah, same thing. Same coin, same thing. He doesn't have time for them. Doesn't care about it, obviously.
I mean, I'm astounded. I'm so disappointed. That's more than I'm crushed. I'm angry. I want to do something about it. And if and going after Donald Trump again, oh my God. And then the 22 years in prison for the guy who texted that we're doing 1776 all over again. He texted it. He wasn't even at the so-called insurrection. 22 years in prison.
And I heard 18 months for some guy who raped 2 children.
Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday. A guy in Albany, New York, raped 2 little girls, and he got 18 months in prison. And this guy got 22 years. And of course, you remember all the people who rioted and destroyed things, and arson and shootings and everything else during the 20 and 21 years of the Antifa and BLM. Yeah. They got out. They didn't get anything. And Carmelo, the vice president, helped them get bail.
Exactly.
God, this is just, we're nuts.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I know. All right. Hey, Clayton, thanks, man. I got to go. You're killing me. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you listening. Call anytime. Be as critical as you want, because we do pay attention. What you got? 511.
We have Chris on the phone now.
Chris joining us. I really appreciate it. Welcome aboard. How's it going? What's on your mind?
It's hot in Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. I spent a little time there with my girlfriend at MD Anderson Hospital. Houston, Texas, in the summertime, has the worst climate it's even worse than New Orleans, I think. Holy cow! I know what you're going through.
June, so.
Oh, mercy!
Now, I want to get back on this Biden walking off the stage.
Yes, sir.
Kimmer, I watched Bongino several times on his podcast. He was a Secret Service agent.
Mm-hmm. Dan
All
Bongino.
presidents have a card.
Yeah.
Go left, go right. This man can't even read the card. He's in fifth stage dementia.
Yeah. It's more than humiliating and embarrassing. It's offensive and it's criminal. And these people are enablers. And they're still talking about him running again. I mean, at least we're finally hearing in the news, even Democrats are saying, well, he's pretty old, so we really need to da-da-da. So at least they're talking about the possibility that he may not be able to run again. But still, it's a little late for that. And what he's doing, I mean, look what he's done. Afghanistan, but first thing he did was he canceled all the pipelines. He pulled out of Afghanistan in a murderous, treasonous, traitorous way. I'm just so offended by this guy. I hate him. I hate what he's doing. And I hate his enablers and his stinking lousy wife and that stupid vice president and all those people. Shame on them. Shame. They ought to be in freaking prison for treason. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm screaming. I didn't mean to cut you off there, my friend.
No, I love it, Cameron.
Again, I'm biased.
Think about this, Cameron. Screw everybody on YouTube.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear.
Screw everybody on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. That's what
kind of life do you have? You got to type on YouTube.
That's it. I'm here, my friend, and I'm on the right side of the grass.
Cameron, I want to say one last thing.
Yes, sir.
My father passed away Memorial Day 2020 in a nursing home in Decatur.
Yes, sir.
From COVID.
Wow.
When you came back on 106.3 or whatever it was, he just absolutely loved you.
What?
And by the way, if you want a real woman, go to the Philippines.
As far for saying that, what a nice thing to say about your dad. I'm so sorry for your loss, and my heart is fluttering with your kind words. And hell, I sent for
in 1994.
I sent for one of those Orange Blossom catalogs back in many 30 years ago for a little Philippine wife princess mail order.
Stop talking.
All right, we gotta go. 5:14. I was never married. I've never been married. Waters is 80 years old today, Pink Floyd legend, brick in the wall, stuff like that. But first, and I got 4 history baseball things, but first, holy crap, it's sports and Pete Davis.
David Gilmour is the best part of Pink Floyd, in my opinion.
There you are.
Braves win 8-10 on a tough West Coast road trip. They come home, they get a day off.
Yeah.
And then go out and lose to one of the worst teams in baseball last night.
3 runs, all of us, or something. I'm thinking, what happened?
The Cardinals 10-6. That is baseball, my friend. That's a 162-game schedule.
Yeah.
They lost even though the Bravos blasted 4 homers, and Michael Harris II robbed a home run in center field.
Yeah.
Matt Olson smacking his major league leading 45th homer to be 1 ahead of Shohei Ohtani.
Yes, sir.
Spencer Strider against Dakota Hudson tonight. Dakota Hudson sounds like a Bruce Willis character.
Any relation to the former pitcher of Hudson? What's his name?
I've never heard if there is one, so I don't. Probably not.
Yeah.
Michael Soroka just can't get a break.
Yeah.
He's back on the injured list with numbness in his fingers. He's joined there by Colin McHugh, who has right shoulder inflammation. Both pitched last night. So obviously a Cards fan in the stands had a couple of voodoo dolls with him.
Yeah.
Soroka pitches well at AAA, but just cannot seem to get over the hump in the big show. But I am not going to judge Michael Soroka until next season. I want a full offseason and a full spring training and be ready for 2024. Next year is pivotal for Soroka. If he can't get it going next year, they're probably going to have to just move on.
Yeah.
But I'll give him one more year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ben Heller and Darius Vines are back from the lukewarm waters of Gwinnett. And MLB has placed Dodgers lefty Julio Urias on administrative leave.
Yeah, well.
He's got a few hits this year, even though he's never batted.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
against
women.
And he's done that more than once against, it's his wife, right? Apparently this is like felony stuff where he's really hurting her. This is not just, having little slap fights and they both, hate each other. So something's going on. He's a bully.
Supposedly she turned him in, and there's witnesses. I don't know about this one. It's gonna be hard.
We do not tolerate wife beaters. And ladies, you ought to be able to find a way to shoot him, making sure it's self-defense when he comes at you happen to have the gun ready. I'm just saying. I don't have a problem saying that out loud.
Okay. All right. How tough were the old-time pitchers?
Well, pretty damn tough.
That's right, sir. On this date in 1948.
How tough were they, is it?
Warren Spahn went 14 innings to beat the Dodgers 2-1. Now, Spahn picked off Jackie Robinson twice and allowed just 5 hits. Johnny Sain won 4-0 in the nightcap. That combo of Spahn and Sain will start 11 of the next 16 games for the Braves. 11 of 16, just 2 pitchers. What famous phrase was made up for those 2 pitchers?
And
I gave you a hint already.
I don't know. I should know this. I bet I know this, and I can't think of it. I don't know.
Spahn and Sain.
Pray
for rain.
Pray for rain. There you go. No, that's it. That's it. Spahn and Sain, pray for rain. Yeah, because 11 games, the 2 of them, and 14
11
innings.
Out of 16.
14 innings and 5 hits.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. 1945, how mad was Philadelphia A's catcher Greek George?
Yeah.
Well, mad enough to receive an indefinite suspension after he punched the umpire.
Oh, wow.
George never plays in the majors again.
Oh, my. No.
1995, Cal Ripken played his 2,131st consecutive game, breaking Lou Gehrig's 56-year-old record there in Baltimore.
Well,
so that was pretty cool.
One of my history notes there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Eddie to come up.
Georgia head coach Kirby Smart was asked what he says when other schools negatively recruit against him by citing the low amount of individual sacks his defensive players get because there's so many of them playing and they're all so good.
Yeah.
Kirby responded, well, we usually fix that when we show them how many have been drafted. Then it's silent.
Then they got to start.
Then they shut up.
Yeah.
Congrats to former Georgia Tech and Georgia Southern head coach and Navy Paul Johnson, inducted into the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame very soon.
Very nice.
So good for him. Good. I miss him. I miss that offense. I love watching it.
Yeah.
I really do. President Donald Trump will attend the Iowa State Saturday game in Ames.
Rivalry, huh?
All right.
Makes sense.
Well, not really.
Well, it's Iowa. You got to go to Iowa for the election, so, yeah.
Yeah. Duke is a hard school, Kimmer.
Yes, it is. I tried to get in there, and they laughed at me. I swear to God. I drove down there with Al Williams and his mother in their car, drove down to Duke University, and I was wearing my preppy Madras sport jacket and all this stuff, and I'm trying to think, I'm such a hotshot prep school guy, captain of the football team, baseball, and basketball, and they almost laughed at me. No, you're not really going to be kind of a, no, I'm sorry.
Well, weren't you a peppy little preppy going down there?
Preppy. Hell, I wore saddle shoes back in 1963 or whatever it was. Thank you.
Well, Blue Devils quarterback Riley Leonard's professor refused to cut him any slack for not having his paper turned in by midnight of the night they upset Clemson. Professor William A. Hardass says the offensive linemen got their papers in, so there's no excuse, young man. This is the strictest use of academic discipline since some grad assistant at Michigan State back in the 70s gave zeros to anyone who crossed his path.
Well, I think I guess I I can't tell the story because you told part of it.
All right. TCU linebacker Johnny Hodges had harsh words for his team's defensive performance in that 45-42 loss to Colorado. He says it's unacceptable. That's not all he said. Hodges was last year's Big 12 Defensive Newcomer of the Year. They went 13-2 last year, but they lost 65-7 to Georgia in the playoff national title game. So they said, Johnny, was that loss to Colorado a wake-up call? Here's what he said. I guess you can say it's a wake-up call. I don't know how losing the national championship by 60 isn't a wake-up call. Right now, we're the laughingstock of college football.
Oh, mercy.
So, maybe so. If you haven't seen Peyton and Eli Manning's audition video trying to find that third host for their Monday Night Manning cast, you need to. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't. Is it on ESPN or you have to search on social media or something?
It's on social media. It's floating around. If Flabber can find it, I was trying to send it to you. It is hysterical. They got a bunch of big names on there, and it's just funny.
What an idea! I mean, what the brothers and the whole thing is a great idea. Their rivalry and they're goofing around the commercial. When they started doing it for ESPN, when they did the promos, that's when it started. When the ESPN had them do 30-second promos to watch the game, and they'd kick each other in the butt walking down the hall or whatever. And it was perfect. It was great, and they're natural at it. And I can't say more about them. And Archie and the whole crew. I just think
Cooper and all of them.
Yeah.
It took a few weeks of intense pressure from activists, but Spain's Ginny Hermoso has finally accused Luis Rubiales of sexual assault for kissing her on the lips without her consent at the World Cup final. Rubiales, the now suspended president of the Spanish Football Federation, kissed on the lips during the awards ceremony after Spain beat England. So fire him, I say, okay, whatever. Sexual assault, that is loco. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And finally, they need to change the name of the Mexico City Marathon to the Rosie Ruiz Race.
Uh-oh, what happened?
After the chica who cheated during the Boston Marathon a few years ago. Well, actually, 30 years ago.
She took the subway. She had legs like cottage cheese.
Yeah. Because a few runners have been disqualified from the Mexican race for taking taxis and Ubers during their run. Okay. 30,000 people were contested in the run. They're the ones who were in the race, okay?
Yeah.
How many people cheated and have been disqualified?
30,000? God.
30,000 people ran it. How many did they have to kick out?
80.
Higher.
96.
Higher.
200.
Higher.
300.
Higher.
It's 500. How much time you got?
Keep going.
800.
Higher.
2,000.
Higher.
7,000.
Higher.
Well, then why do they have the race?
Up to this moment, they've disqualified 11,000 of the 30,000.
Holy smokes.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Ay. That's funny. By the way, that Georgia football staff player, former star player and now staff guy Jarvis Jones, when he was driving down the old Atlanta highway in his Buick Regal, he was doing 86 and a 40.
Buick Regal?
Yeah. His Buick.
He's been charged for that.
His 1984 Buick Regal doing 86 and a 40. And that's now when I got caught doing 20 over, I had to go to traffic school on a Saturday. I'll bet they're going to take his license.
Kimber, were you a staff member of the Georgia football team?
I'm so sorry. What was I thinking?
You silly man.
I'm such an idiot. A couple of quick other sports things here, Pete. 1943, the youngest player to appear in an American League baseball game was a pitcher named Carl Scheib. I can paint that car for 49. No, Carl Scheib of the Philadelphia Athletics. He was 8 months and 5 days past his 16th birthday. And in 1996, Eddie Murray of the Baltimore Orioles hit home run number 500 for his career. It was against the Detroit Tigers. Eddie Murray became only the third person to hit 500 homers and 3,000 hits. The others, I know you know these.
I'm sorry, Eddie Murray you're talking about?
Eddie Murray, 500 homers and 3,000 hits. Only two other guys had 500 homers and 3,000 hits.
Will that be Hank Aaron and Willie Mays?
Willie Mays, absolutely. And one more here on my sometimes when I'm doing my typewriter stuff at night and early in the morning, I sometimes don't have all the lights on, and so I type this for a history of sports thing in 1975. Mietsedins, Nissel, Hummelgogops, Eska in Yipsen, York, Gotkirk. Then I realized after 2 more sentences when I tried to make sure, here's what I wrote, actually, the true story. On this day, 1975, Martina Navratilova was in New York for the U.S. Open tennis tourney when she requested political asylum. That used to be real. Not like the Democrat socialists during current plans, just open the freaking borders and say you're all here for asylum seeking. Well, anyway, back in 75 on this day, Martina credited a patriotic American media personality named Grits Peterson, who impressed her in a friendly exhibition tennis match in New Orleans that made her want to become an American citizen. Yes, indeed, folks.
You must have been typing on Norwegian typewriter.
Grits
earlier.
Peterson was what they used to call me. Many people used to call me Grits Peterson. There was a sports guy named Grits Gresham. Was an outdoorsman and a fisherman. He had a TV show, and they used to call me Grits Peterson. It was because it was just kind of an internal thing with the guy. And my cold morning, I'm Mike Cunningham, Mike Summers. We used to call him Eggs, so it was a Grits and Eggs in the morning show kind of. Anyway, they call me Grits Peterson. And it's not true that she credited me for becoming an American, but I did beat her in a tennis match, and I did play golf with Archie Manning. So there. And
wait a minute, get Grits and Eggs in the morning.
Yeah, that's
who came up with that?
It was not my idea. I was a news director and operations manager in the morning, man. I worked from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. every freaking day.
Where were you? Spokane, Washington?
New Orleans. This was New Orleans.
No, that makes sense.
I know. All right. Oh, my God. It's almost 5:30. All right. Coming up, we'll do the Facebook thing, and we'll talk about the Maui business. You'll hear it from the lady and stuff. Also, Vice President's side piece, our shiftless and lady VP, is talking about how she's ready to take over. And we still have Skynet, and we'll do another 65 birthday celebrant of Jeff Foxworthy, all coming up in the next half hour, starting in a couple of minutes with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder at 5:30. Look out. That's the song with Jimmy Reed. Jimmy Reed, blues singer, guitar player, 1964 British number 5 single, Shame, Shame, Shame. He wrote Big Boss Man, Bright Lights, Big City. A major influence on the Rolling Stones, and Elvis Presley covered Baby What You Want Me to Do. Of Jimmy Reed's song. He died on August 29th, 1976, born in 1925.
God, who doesn't love that guitar sound he's got?
Yeah, that old. Yeah, it's like listening to old-fashioned LP albums, and you really get with the great needles, and you get the whole full experience. Man, pretty cool. A quick historical note here: 1997. The funeral for Diana, the People's Princess, was a 4-mile-long procession to Westminster Abbey. 1 million people lined the route in person, and more than 2 billion people watched it on TV. The body of Prince Charles's, now King Charles's, murder victim, Diana, lies on an island in the heart of her family estate in Althorpe, which is over in the British Isles there somewhere.
I read something the other day that Muhammad, he's passed away, right, the daddy?
I believe that's correct.
He blamed himself because he talked to Dodi, and Dodi said wanted permission to take Diana out of the hotel.
Yeah.
And Muhammad, despite he said he had reservations, said, okay, you can go ahead and take her out. And he says, if I had said no, they'd probably still be alive.
Yeah. Well, everything was wrong about it. The paparazzi were wrong. The drunk driver Henri was wrong. Speeding away. I mean, everything. The whole thing was horrible. And why did it have to end like that? I mean, it was bad enough that their marriage was a joke and a shame. Anyway, whatever. The whole thing's a shame. And now, and by the way, every once in a while, I'll pop up my phone on Fox News stuff on my phone about Prince Harry now is having trouble with, and I don't even care. I'm just the whole thing makes me feel icky, to be honest with you. All right. Coming up, we still have a Skynet if you want to do that. We'll decide that in a minute. We got Jeff Foxworthy, and we'll do that shortly. Also, Vice President Carmella. And, one quick note. I mentioned Atlanta Safe House, and I made a point of mentioning you have pistol safes. I want to mention this story to you only because it's heartbreaking, and it may give you a second thoughts about the way you behave with your own firearms. DeKalb County, a father with his 2 kids, 7-year-old and a 7-year-old son and his little brother on Rock Chapel Road early in the morning at Texaco Station, a few miles north of Lithonia. The father went into the store And all of a sudden, he realized when he came back that his little boy was shot in the head. 42-year-old Dante Doherty has been arrested for 2 counts of second-degree cruelty to children, and he's been charged after the 7-year-old, was shot to death inside the car. The 6-year-old brother was also in the car, and they don't know whether the 7-year-old accidentally shot himself, whether they were playing, whether the 6-year-old pulled the trigger. They don't know. Or if they do know, they're not saying. I assume they probably have obviously talked to the kids. But still, I mean, my God, how can you come to grips with this? The father goes into the store. Somewhere in the car was a gun. One of the kids found it. The 7-year-old son is dead. The boys found the gun. So it's criminal negligence, having a gun within reach without warning or knowing that there was a danger in not securing it. So clearly, I mean, a word to the wise, just, God, that's so horrible. I mean, can you imagine being there, come back out to the car and, horrible. By the way, here's a quick story, and then we'll do Jeff Foxworthy, have a little fun. A Florida mom says, my little girl is really something. Her little girl is 5. Well, what happened was a 46-year-old scumbag named Carlos Rivera Luciano was caught in Orange County, Florida, exposing himself and other acts of lascivious behavior at the door, exposing himself, blowing kisses to the little girl, and telling her to come over outside her residence sliding glass door in Orlando. The little girl's mother says her daughter, who was 5, got her sister's cell phone and started recording the guy outside the glass door. So they got it all on tape. And they're saying, oh, my God, this is unbelievable. It's disgusting. I mean, he was blowing kisses to her, trying to get her to come out the door. The mom says, I'm so glad the little girl knew what to do. Awesome parents teaching her how to respond if she was ever put in a difficult situation. The cops are saying, my God, it's unfortunate. I even have to tell our kids something about stuff like this. I think about my kids playing outside the door. You never know what's going to happen. He's been jailed, a $5,000 bond. How come they haven't shot him?
I know.
How come the mother hasn't shot him? They stopped him. He was going to rape that little girl.
I'm telling you, the Russians have it right. They take these people out in an alley, they put them on their knees, and they shoot them in the back of the head.
Yeah, and the Chinese do it, and then you send the bill for the 2 cents for the bullet to the family. Yeah. Hey, a surprise. All right, we'll wash your ears out with this, as Paul Harvey used to say. And then we got Jeff Foxworthy coming up. I don't know if Flounder's in there or not. I can't. Oh, yeah, he's okay, we'll do Jeff Foxworthy. Poor bastard. I mean, he's running around.
I'm here.
I don't want to, I don't want to just cause you one.
Do you want to play one now?
I want to do the doggy story, and then we'll do Jeff Foxworthy. How about that? Here's this. Doggy. I think this is such a sweet thing, and it's going to make me weep when I wept when I read it this morning. So there, and I don't care. Here we go. A nursing home and a stray mutt named Scout. A stray mutt with a history of being abused. Meadowbrook Medical Care Facility, a long-term medical care residence in Antrim County. I think this is California. I'm not even sure what state. It doesn't even say. It's a long-term medical care facility where people go basically to live out the rest of their lives. Scout was at a nearby animal shelter, and all of a sudden it turned out that Scout would show up at this medical care facility. They found him one morning curled up on a couch in the lobby. He found a way to open the automatic doors. And what the mystery is that Scout was at the animal shelter with physical scars of past abuse, embedded pellets in his jaw from being shot by a BB gun or birdshot attack. But he would jump over fences and cross busy highways to get to this long-term care place, and would get himself in there and curl up and go to sleep on the couch. And so the nursing home administrator said, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this doggy keeps showing up in our place. Does anybody want to adopt the dog? And they said, yeah, we all do. They unanimously adopted Scout. He's their cherished companion. Welcome with open arms. He's a comfort to all the seniors, of course. And as you would expect, he learned how to open the doors with his paw to go see the visit the residents in their rooms. So he would wander in the halls and go visit everybody. He got treats and affection from all of them. He's more than just a dog. He's their dog. He's their companion dog. And he's watching over the residents. And yes, when a resident is in the process of passing away, Scout is with them. Final solace during their final moments. He has a slight cower in his walk from his past abuse. Not sure how old he is. Stray mutt named Scout, and God bless him. 5:43. How about some happy time? And again, let me read a little story here from a guy named David in Marietta. Wrote this into Flounder. Says, hope you guys are well and want to share an experience. Jeff Foxworthy. 2 weeks ago, went to the Punchline, a charity benefit to honor radio legend Steve McCoy and Hospice for Parkinson's. Jeff Foxworthy was not scheduled to perform, but he did come and did a 20 or 30-minute set to honor Steve. He was visibly choked up talking about Steve, revealed that they were next-door neighbors for many years. Jeff's skill set killed. He made my heart and chest hurt. I laughed so hard. Love listening to you guys, having something to look forward to every day. David Marietta. And here, 65 years old today, Jeff Foxworthy.
This guy's mother-in-law comes to live with him. And she's been living there for about a week, and he comes home one day, she's laid on the floor, and he calls 911, and the ambulance comes and gets her, and they take her to the hospital, and he's out in the waiting room, and the doctor comes out after a while, and the doctor said, well, I got some good news and some bad news. I said, all right, well, give me the bad news first. He goes, all right, your mother-in-law is not going to die. He said, she's had a massive stroke. He said, in fact, she's probably going to live 20 or 30 more years. He said, the problem is this thing has rendered her unable to speak. He said, she just makes this horrible screeching noise like a parrot now. He said, it's also disabled her from using her arms, and she can't feed herself. He said, for the next 20 or 30 years, you're going to have to feed her baby food 3 times a day. He said, also, it's made her incontinent. You're going to have to change her diapers and clean her up every single day of your life. The guy said, oh, my God. He said, what's the good news? And the doctor goes, I'm just kidding with you. She died.
Only the real version has the dirty word. One of the great jokes of all time.
Fortunately, Jeff keeps it clean.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
One of the good things about his comedy.
65 years old. What a guy. What a guy. What a tribute, and just a great guy. And it sounds like he's got just a wonderful family, and I can't imagine having a happier life. I suppose we all have issues, but I'm just happy for him. Good for him.
Sophia's weighed in.
Okay, Sophia.
Of course.
She says your crying streak continues.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. 546. Give her Pete and Flounder. Shut up. There we go. Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer 549 with Pete and Flounder. This said that girl commercial for the razor blades, wasn't it?
I don't know about that, but the name of the band is Bananarama.
Venus. Yeah, Venus.
That's a remake, the Bananarama version.
Yep. This is not Bananarama? Yeah, this does not sound like Bananarama. Yeah, isn't that funny? Anyway, here's a story.
This is Bananarama.
On this day in 1986, Your Desire. In 1986, Bananarama had the #1 single with Venus, a song that originally went #1 for the Dutch pop group The Shocking Blue. This song was for that girl shaver thing, isn't it? The Venus, the Lady Chick, or the Lady something. I'm sure of it. They show the chicks' legs and their little bare feet and stuff like that. It's pretty kinky. Hold on a minute. Also, our birthday that's not really Bananarama.
It's Bananarama. It's just a remix version of it. So they did a little different backing and stuff.
I used to hate that if you go into a gas station sometimes and driving cross country and they have racks of like at truck stops and they have racks of audio tapes
and stuff.
Yeah, but they would all be remakes where it was the original group, but they went back in the studio because they had to read, and it sounded like crap, and it was a gimmick. Quick birthday. David Allan Coe is 84 today. Country outlaw from the jukebox classic You Never Even Called Me By My Name. And he wrote the Johnny Paycheck smash it, Take This Job and Shove It. David Allan Coe's 84 today. Quick history note. Did we do all the birthdays? Oh, here we go. 1941, the head of the Berlin secret police, precursor to today's Democratic Socialists, ordered all Jews over 6 years old to wear a yellow Star of David on their coats along with the word Jew. And they can't leave the area without secret police permission. And again, that became today's Democrat Party. So it's kind of special there. Let's see. We got that one, Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got that. I think we're all caught up on the music stuff. Holy cow. All right. Okay. Vice President Shiftless and Lazy. She did an interview where she is now, they asked her the question, of course, so what about the president's age? Are you prepared to take over, you're one last breath away from become president of the United States? It reminded me of when Dan Quayle was asked the question. You always have to ask the question if the vice president's ready to assume the duties. And they asked Dan Quayle, the vice president to Bush, if he was ready, and he says, I can sum up how I am ready for the inevitable if it happens. He said, I can sum up all that has to be done in one word. Be prepared. Thank you, Dan. Be prepared. That one word. Anyway, Vice President Shiftless and Lazy, America's favorite side piece, says, well, he's old, but we're covered. We're okay, she says here.
Well, first of all, I'm answering your hypothetical. But Joe Biden's going to be fine. So that is not going to come to fruition. But let us also understand that every vice president understands that when they take the oath, that they must be very clear about the responsibility they may have to take over the job of being president. I am no different.
Have you ever heard a dumber person in your life? Honest to God, if you were running for student council president in the 7th grade and you said, well, I know I would have to know if I became the president of the student council, I'd have to be aware of the responsibilities of the way to take over that particular job. There are about 9 extra words in there because she doesn't know what to say. It's about that. That's your comment? I mean, she's a disgrace. Like a former attorney general. Oh, brother, when she was a side piece to Willie Brown in California. He was married, and he used to take her to parties. Jesus. Oh, God. Of course, remember, she got 0 votes in the delegate. She dropped out before the first primary. She never got a vote.
She dropped, all right.
She dropped. Knees first. She only was elected vice president because he said, I'm going to get a girl and I want to get a black one, even though she's a Cuban-Canadian. Dear God.
I don't know if she's Cuban.
No, isn't her father and daddy's Cuban?
Jamaican or something.
Cuban-Jamaican. I think it's both of them in there. Isn't it the same thing?
Big difference.
No, I think northern Jamaica used to all come from Cuba, but not all Cubans come from Jamaica.
Oh, quit digging. Quit digging. Oh, God.
I remember they used to pull. No, let's see. All Jamaicans come from Cuba, but not all Cubans come
from... talking. Stop.
I know.
Hey, you want to do the quiz?
Yeah. What's this about a quiz involving food items or maybe something?
I'm going to read you a short little recipe. It's a famous recipe, and I want you and Flounder to try and figure out what exactly we're cooking here.
Okay. Now, Flounder's back in the room. Are you okay? He's back there. Okay. I don't know. He's back there. Right.
First of all, what's a C? Is that a cup? If it says C
a centimeter could be a cup.
No,
probably a cup.
cup.
It'd be a cup, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
3
garlic.
Whoa, we got to write this down.
Repeat everything. Okay.
All right. 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Yeah.
3 garlic cloves chopped.
Cloves chopped, okay.
2 cans of tomatoes, whole, crushed, or chopped.
2 cans tomatoes, okay, whole or whatever.
2 cans of tomato paste.
2 cans tomato paste.
3 Italian sausages, grilled and sliced.
Wow, Italian sausage, grilled and sliced.
1 pound of meatballs cooked by your favorite recipe.
Okay. Wow.
However you want to do it.
Wow.
All right. Red wine, just a splash of red wine.
Okay.
And a fourth of a cup of sugar.
Cup sugar. Okay.
What are we making?
All right, we got chopped garlic. We got olive oil, garlic cloves, and tomato paste and tomato things. So it's got meat. It's got a lot of sausage, grilled sausage, chopped Italian, and meatballs with sugar.
It sounds like a pasta dish.
Close.
I mean,
That's pretty close.
It's it's sausage and meatballs in tomato paste. It's got to be, Italian
Italian dinner.
I mean, what the hell?
There's an actual
a quarter cup of sugar. I mean, that must mean so. It's got to be. It's not lasagna, is it? Lasagna?
No, it's a red sauce.
It's a sauce.
Yeah,
it's a sauce, and it's basically that you put on pasta. But it comes from Francis Ford Coppola. It's his family recipe. It's what he does.
Well, I'll be damned.
What's it? Bolognese or Belay?
He used it in The Godfather, the scene where Clemenza's
put a little sugar. That's right. Yeah, put a little
Michael
wine.
how you cook for a bunch of men.
Tell her you. The other day when Flounder was on the phone with Veronica, I did the thing exactly from The Godfather when he said, "Tell you I love you. Tell her you love her." And Flounder told me to go to hell. Yeah, kiss my ass. How about that?
But you know what? I'm going to go to the store later if I feel better, and I'm going to get this.
That's a great recipe.
I'm hungry.
I just put it on and cook it all up there. Just let it boil and cook and simmer and whatever. I guess it's probably better the second day. I'll bet you. My mother used to make the greatest stuff. It was always better the second and third day. Oh, mercy.
Oh, Mike, tell her you love her.
He's a Melamine. Oh, my God. A guy named Reza Bellucci is 44 years old. And he was caught off Tybee Island, 70 miles off Tybee Island. 70 miles. Georgia Coast Guardsmen caught him. The reason they caught him is because he was trying to pedal his way across the Atlantic Ocean in a giant metal drum like one of those hamster wheels. And I mean, the thing is, it was only held up by floats of wiring and buoys, and then inside he had pedals, and he was going to pedal across the ocean all the way to London. They caught him 70 miles off of Tybee. They cut his voyage short. He said, oh, yeah, and then he threatened to kill himself with a knife if you come near me. He says, I got to do this. I'm going to kill myself. And then he told him he's got a bomb. Eventually, he admitted it was all a crack, but they took him into custody because he faces federal charges of obstruction of a Coast Guard boarding your boat and violation of a captain of the port order to turn. I mean, all this kind of stuff. Oh, my God. He's done it before. He's tried to raise money for charity. He's done this in 2014, 2016, and 2021. Every time the Coast Guard caught him and took him into custody and sent him back to Florida. Wherever. It's unbelievable. Anyway, hell, I got boarded by the Coast Guard with that final, never mind that.
Is that a euphemism?
Yeah, no, when I was with the final thing, there was a thing out near the St. Croix, and I got pulled over by the Coast Guard. I should have known it was a sign of things to come. Hey, God bless America. Hoorah, I gotta go. You're killing me, boys. See you tomorrow. Hoorah, herp. Gotta go. You're killing me. Bing, bang.